You're up and it's still dark. Kick back with a cup of joe. You know you've got friends waiting on 1620 The Zone. It's Happer and Schaefer. It's Connor and Mike. Listen on the radio stream or YouTube or podcasts. Anytime it feels right. It's Happer and Schaefer.
All right, good morning and welcome in. Happy Tuesday. It's Happer and Schaefer here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Mike Schaefer, Joey Colbert with you this morning. And one more good morning to our friends in the Tri-Cities. Good morning, 97.7 The Zone and Grand Island. We are nearly here. We have first four games this evening.
That's right.
Usually my my process with the first four is realize that it's on at about 6:20, and then watch the second half of that game, which is, exciting. And then
the 16s duking it out. Which 16s are we getting?
I believe
today?
we got UMBC and Howard tonight.
I think
so. Man, UMBC doesn't automatically get placed in the field.
They do not get grandfathered in because of their win over Purdue. No,
That's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
They should definitely be put in no matter what. I feel like if you are one of the 16s that knocks off a 1, you shouldn't ever have to be in the play-in game.
Okay, so and you're talking about if they make the tournament, like if they qualify in regular terms for the tournament. Yeah. All right, so UMBC and Fairleigh Dickinson just forever don't have to do a play-in.
I think I don't know who's arguing against it.
I like
this idea.
It should be like a lifetime achievement award in the and only if you're a 16.
And it's really
if they
not
deem them to be a 15, fine. Like you can do whatever you want seed-wise.
Sure.
It's just that if you win as a 16 seed, you should never be put in the play.
You should get a get out of jail free card and just hand it over to the committee saying, hey, don't put us in these play-in games. We deserve an automatic round of 64.
It's really not that great of a reward, right? So, who's arguing against this? Now, my question
just don't have to go to Dayton.
My question would be, what if they at some point end up being an 11?
I'm good with it. I mean, we could have an argument that no one should be allowed to be the seed they were previously if they won a game.
No one should be allowed
within a 1-year window.
Okay.
So if you were a 16 and you win, then you shouldn't be a 16 again. If you go back the next year, you can only be a 15.
What about a 1?
Then they just automatically advance to the championship.
So I have a curious question.
This is well thought out.
I have a curious question on
well
the 16 seeds. I'm curious how the committee determines which 16 seeds actually have to go to Dayton, which ones get to avoid.
Is it just net?
It's not exactly net ranking, but basically they rank them. I mean, that's
what I thought. And UMBC's record compared to some of the other teams are better in that 16 seed field. Like they got a better record than Idaho, I believe, but Idaho got a 15 seed over a 16 seed.
Let's head to the Ken Palm. Here are the lowest 4 Ken Palm teams. Let's see if they're all the first 4 teams. Prairie View A&M, check. Lehigh, check. LIU is actually lower on Ken Palm than Howard. So there you go. Maybe LIU got a break there because they're not in a play-in game, right? Or no, are they in the other play-in game?
Let me take a look.
I can't remember who's in the play. I know what the play-in game is tonight, and it's
no, they are not. It's Prairie View and Lehigh.
Prairie View and Lehigh, right? Okay, so and then UMBC. Wow, UMBC is actually higher ranked on Ken Palm anyway than Tennessee State, Furman, and Siena and LIU.
They're a top 200 net team, if it means anything, relative to a very handful of teams that are not in the top 200.
Schaefer, you might be onto something. UMBC might have got hosed.
Yeah, I thought they should have got a 15 or a 14 seed.
I mean, if you're a 16 seed and they win tonight, and you're like, oh, cool. We're gonna play UMBC to kick things off. the most famous of the 16 seeds of all time.
And I think they would play Michigan if they win.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're going to beat them. UMBC is going to do it again. Wouldn't that just be great?
That would be amazing.
Another Big Ten team.
This
Or
would be
no, they beat
fantastic.
Virginia. Never mind.
This would be
Fairleigh Dickinson was
Fairleigh Dickinson beat Purdue.
Purdue.
Yep, indeed. Matthew writes in, how many of the 16s won their conference tournament? Well, all of them.
Yeah, everybody. It's automatic bids.
Yeah. It's probably just dependent on the strength of the conference. Maybe that's what
Probably makes sense.
Matthew is asking, or at least partly. All right. So today on the show, so welcome. This is the first official day, I suppose, of the NCAA tournament. We're excited about it. There's all sorts of stats going around. You've probably talked yourself into a pretzel about what is going to happen in just a little over 48 hours now. We are excited to bring you the Westwood One coverage, of course, here on 1620 The Zone all throughout the tournament these next couple weeks. Coming up today on the show, Mitch Sherman, Jacob Padilla will join us at their regular times, 8:30, 9:15 for those guys. And we will talk Troy. It's cool to talk Troy these days.
A lot of Troy talk.
Talking Troy with David Schultz from Locked On Sunbelt. He'll join us. That's right. We are going to have, for the first time ever, a 6 o'clock hour guest. For the first time in Happer and Schaefer history, David will join us at 6:25 today to talk about the Troy Trojans. All right. So I have some stats that either will make you feel a lot better or won't have really any sort of impact on your well-being, Schaefer. I don't know what you're like. I don't know how mentally fragile you are right now as far as the Nebraska and the tournament is concerned. It's hard to tell. You hide it.
I'm masking it well.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'm mentally fragile at all, if that makes sense.
Do I believe you?
I don't know. I guess there's a part of me that's not inclined to care if you believe me or not. I think they're going to win.
I figured you probably would.
Does that count for anything?
Yes, that
Okay.
does. If you
Look,
have confidence if you just said that confidently, I like that.
I genuinely believe that they are going to win, as I have for most of the entire year.
By the way, I do too.
Yeah,
I think Nebraska's going to win too. I don't. Everybody's yelling at me because I'm tweeting out Troy stuff. I'm just trying to keep people informed.
Sure.
I think they're going to win.
Yeah, I like that's. There's still when I woke up this morning, doing the mental math, because this is what you do. There's still multiple days of discussion about Troy before Nebraska will tip off against Troy. Like, it makes sense to talk about Troy. Just because you're discussing them does not mean that you think that they are this juggernaut that is going to dominate or win or whatever.
Counterpoint, I got a tweet from Corn and More Corn a couple hours ago in the middle of the night.
Wow.
Who said,
Night tweets.
We get it, dude.
That should be a segment.
Night tweets?
Yeah.
I get a few of them.
I do too.
Occasionally, yeah.
Sometimes waking up to being insulted over the middle of the night is way more fun than being insulted.
I actually agree completely with that.
Like,
that is a great take.
Getting a good laugh in the morning because someone just takes a shot at you, way better than it's just going to hit different at 3 p.m.
I agree completely. This tweet came in at 2, just after 2 a.m. from Corn and More Corn. We get it, dude. You're big sad about Creighton. You must have Troy beating Florida as much as you're trying to hype them. Here was the tweet that was in response to. It was just a simple piece of information. Here's a stat. Troy's Victor Valdez has shot 220 free throws this season. Nobody on Nebraska's roster has attempted 80. And that guy was like, oh, guess this guy's taking Troy to the Final Four.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if he's a free throw merchant, we know that Nebraska can occasionally get in games where they give up a lot of free throws. It could matter.
Exactly. That's all I'm saying.
It could absolutely matter.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to point it one direction or the other, but I keep trying to inform people. I'm doing my job. You want the media to inform? You want the media to tell you things? Hey, I'm the only one that's diving deep into these stats as far as local media is concerned. Okay,
a scouting report on the team.
That's exactly right, Joey. I don't have a Substack to show for,
Just
but
pointing out things to pay attention to.
I do have my Twitter account.
I would subscribe if you had a Substack.
I would have thoughts.
You would have thoughts. I would love because they would be very scattered. Like there'd just be a Royals post, and the post would in its entirety would be, "This is awesome."
I would have had to stagger a few posts last night because there was some Royal stuff going on, obviously with the World Baseball Classic. There was some Troy stuff that I was diving into. I was looking at my favorite piece of content that comes out every year, which is the big mega tourney preview from Matt Eisenberg that we'll talk about a little bit later.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I got to show you this.
I don't know if I know this.
Oh, you probably don't. It's great.
What site does it originate off of?
It's not a site. It's just a document. He just puts out a document.
Oh,
yeah,
even better.
It's awesome.
I read like the very generic tournament previews from the major sites.
Oh yeah, no, this is not that.
Usually very whelmed.
Are you driving or is your wife driving?
I will be driving the majority of this, I would assume, if not all of it. I'm assuming all of it.
It's not storylines or anything like that. It's just numbers. And I like looking at the tournament from a what has this team done this year as far as, the individual team preview, but also like historical seed trends and stuff like that. Like there's just so much in there on that. We're going to play a game a little bit later on the show to actually preview the show, which is what we're supposed to do in this segment. I'm going to read a bunch of stats from that book, and I'm going to ask Schaefer if they make him feel good or not.
Okay. All right.
So we will have that as we go on throughout the show today. Like I said, David Schultz, Mitch Sherman, Jacob Padilla. That is our lineup today. We would love to hear from you all. 402-951-1620 on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. You can call or text that number. Tweet at @HappenShave, at Connor Happer, at Mike J. Schaefer on the Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed. Once again, at HappenShave, at Mike J. Schaefer, at Connor Happer. You can email Connor, Mike, Joey at 1620thezone.com on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox. And we say good morning to our YouTube streamers today. Sal writes in on YouTube, working on a night tweet. Bob Seeger, working on a night tweet. That's what Corn and More Corn was doing.
He's bringing more corn.
Or maybe he was just up. Maybe he's like our friend Tab, and he lives in LA, and he only sends me stuff after 1 o'clock in the morning.
That is a real possibility.
Yeah, he's a night owl guy anyway, so you never know.
Bringing the corn to LA.
I think our dear friend, now I don't know, you've talked to him more recently than I have because he filled in for me. Our dear friend Michael Snow, who will be in for the next 2 days for you, he formerly known as a night owl, but now he has children.
Yeah, that is a morning guy.
That is very different.
Yeah, no, he was here. He was here bright, and he beat me to the station. He got here at like 5:40.
Wow.
But I think part of it is that he's kind of in the area, so it's not like a long trek.
Sure, over. You give yourself time, and then you just don't need it.
Yeah, pretty much.
I do the same thing. So he'll be in tomorrow and Thursday. And then just to get in front
of it's a reunion of Happer and Snow.
We have done a show together before.
Snow.
And then on Friday, just to put this out there and remind people right away, should Nebraska win their first ever NCAA tournament game on Thursday, there won't be any other local shows Thursday or Friday on this station on 1620 The Zone because we're off for the NCAA tournament. It's just this one. And on Friday, should Nebraska win their first NCAA tournament game on Thursday, it will be just me on Friday morning, along with my dear friend Joey. So that is really exciting.
We'll probably just call you and just get a reaction.
Yeah, no, I think we can plan on that.
Oh, we'll have many guests and esteemed guests, but for the most part, it'll just be me and Joey stirring up the pot, just cooking. Yeah.
Just a couple of crown guys
with a big cauldron. Tournament. That's right. Today's top story. Creighton heads to the crown, the lone representative from the Big East Conference somehow.
And the state of Nebraska.
Which I thought the Big East literally had to take to, but everybody else quit. For some reason, Seton Hall quit postseason play.
Yeah,
I don't really understand
I don't like that.
I don't like it either. I don't know what the point is.
I can allow it if you're having a coaching transition.
Yes.
If you're not,
which Seton Hall is not,
you should be playing it.
Providence is having a coaching transition. They quit.
Yeah.
I don't know if there was officially anybody else that said no, but I believe the next team up was Georgetown, and maybe
Who've been
and
playing
then-
at least okay basketball.
yeah.
Wasn't Butler a possibility, but then Thad Matta retired?
Thad Matta, who they announced on like Thursday of last week that he was coming back, then retired again. Thad Matta retires again.
They need a like total clean house.
Oh,
situation
I don't
there.
know if there's any redemption for the Butler athletic department coming anytime. I mean, that is a bad spot.
Yeah, not great. They feel like they're about 1,000,000 miles away from the 2-year run to the finals.
Yes, they do not have Brad Stevens as their coach.
Not even just Brad Stevens. Like even before Brad Stevens, they were a perennial like
in the Horizon
they
League,
were
yeah.
Gonzaga
Celtics mastermind.
in a way, sort of Gonzaga before Gonzaga was Gonzaga.
The Gonzaga of the Horizon
And
League.
then they hit their pinnacle before Gonzaga did, and then they've completely fallen off. Like in a way, now they're in a bigger conference. There's, probably, I'm guessing they're probably the poorest school in the Big Ten.
That's
or
most
Big
of it.
East.
That's most of it. I don't know if they are the dead last, but like they are.
It's hard to figure out who would be a smaller, or
It's probably either them, Seton Hall, or Providence. But
Seton Hall.
if we're talking about basketball, then yeah, at least Seton Hall has this kind of ingrained like tradition. I suppose
Sure.
Butler does too because they play at Hinkle and all that stuff. But I don't know. Butler's is in a tough spot who's never really found their home in the Big East much, and all that
Does
stuff.
Providence or Seton Hall have another sport that would be a driver of anything for them?
I think Providence got hockey.
That's what I was thinking.
Providence has hockey. Oh, I
I
didn't
was
even
thinking
know
of
that.
hockey for Providence, but I didn't know if they were good or not. But
They-
I know
they-
that's obviously a big
they had some good
hockey
seasons.
area.
Debo says Providence has some dough. DePaul, maybe. Yeah, I don't. DePaul has never stood out. DePaul has just always been the program to me that has just had bad coaching over the years.
Well, they don't now.
Not like bad, like anything particularly bad about the university that makes it bad. No,
Yeah.
they have a good coach now. So yeah, it's probably either Butler or Seton Hall, I suppose, if you take Providence out of that.
It'll be interesting who fills some of these jobs.
It
as
will
well.
be. It will be. That's another thing that happens all over the top of / before the crown begins in just
April.
a couple weeks.
And you know who's happy about the crown?
John
giving it?
Bishop,
And Mr. McMaster.
Matt McMaster.
Late night Blue Jay
Okay,
overtime.
so Creighton's going to play.
Blue Jay overtime is back.
Creighton is going to play Rutgers at 9:30 p.m. Central Time
on a
which-
Thursday night.
which means big Blue Jay overreaction time doesn't start until at the very least midnight.
Joey is probably regretting his farewell address,
I don't think he
much
is.
like
Nah.
George Washington did.
I don't think I don't think I am.
Joey quit the crown, much like Seton Hall and many
Well,
other
I wasn't-
programs.
I mean, I
Joey
wasn't
quit the
gonna, I
crown
wasn't going to be
before
doing this
quitting the
game
crown was
anyway. It's
cool.
late at night. I got to work the next morning.
Joey, you backed out of the
You
crown.
could just work into work.
You were offered a postseason
Nah.
opportunity and you turned it
I
down.
turned it down.
Unbelievable. So that's of course the biggest story, but everything else we'll fill in the gaps on. Elsewhere, are you looking to win one or are you looking to make a run? Sam McEwen proffered this question on our show last week, and I'd like to ask Mike Schaefer and others. We have our first submission of hashtag questions from Lanny.
Yeah,
Our dear friend Lanny texted
that
us
was
last
a
night.
wonderful text to receive late last night.
And
Well, I got-
luckily, it has a simple
Yeah.
answer.
received it, I guess, earlier, but I didn't get a chance to look at it until very late.
I have a little trivia game that I want to play with you that I think will be
This is
sort
great.
of fun. I have a football topic. Bruce Pearl gets duped by a burner. USA and Venezuela in the World Baseball Classic final today, not helping my hype for the Kansas City Royals this year, and a Alabama basketball player arrest.
Yeah, that's
Tale as
not
old
an
as time.
insignificant one.
No, it is not. Tale as old
As someone who is already eyeing Hofstra as his big upset for the tournament
Oh,
because
looking
of
better.
Speedy Claxton.
there's going to be a lot of people in the Hofstra hive with you.
Well, I think there was people that were interested in that hive before this all went down.
Definitely.
Now the hive is only going to grow, but for reasons I'm not excited about.
Well, somebody was at some point excited about it.
Sure.
Yeah,
Well,
but not anymore, probably. He might have to go to jail for a little
yeah,
while.
no, that's why
Yeah.
I'm not excited. I don't root for people to get incarcerated.
No, we don't like that.
That's not what I want here.
But he did have
Like,
a lot of marijuana.
Yes.
Like a lot. Far too much.
With general, belief of
Allegedly.
intent. Yeah, this is all alleged.
Allegedly. All right.
Alleged intent.
Perfect. That is the setup for today's show. We are pleased that you have decided to join us today. Once again, leave a comment, send in your thoughts throughout the show. We'll be back. And our first 6 o'clock hour guest ever in the history of Happer and Schaefer, David Schultz from Locked on Sunbelt. We're going to talk about Troy after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, trying to get connected here with our good friend David Schultz from our new friend anyway, David Schultz from Locked On Sunbelts, and we are working on it. So we'll get there here momentarily because we need to talk about Troy. It's the cool thing to do. In the meantime, we do have this comment from Theo on YouTube who says, Happer and Schaefer maybe dip into Troy's 24-19 win in Frost's first year. Hot topic on Skurs X. Would you like to dive in?
Yeah.
Lot of bunchy in that game, Mike.
Yeah, I am Mike, and I do need to turn my mic on. Yeah, let's go into this game from 2018.
2018.
And it was the second game of the season, as famously the first did not happen.
That's true.
Perhaps even more famously,
well,
Colorado
no.
wrenched the knee of Adrian Martinez.
Yes, yeah. It would have been the third game of the season because the first did not happen.
Well, I called it the second because the first didn't happen, making Colorado the first. There's no official record of Nebraska.
But if you said it's the second game because the first didn't happen, it implies that
okay.
Right? Like
I see what you're saying. It's a semantics thing.
it is a very semantics thing, yes.
And I acknowledge that it would be awkward and clumsy to listen through.
This is even worse, potentially. Almost for sure. Yeah.
So going back to that game, regardless of where we want to put it in terms of a numerical order, it was basically you end up starting your backup quarterback, I think,
Punchy,
because Nebraska felt like they could win without Adrian, so they didn't want to play him. They wanted to save him for what would have been their first Big Ten game.
The Michigan game that year would have been the next one, I think.
Yeah.
And Adrian did start, but he was not healthy, and he didn't play for very long because Nebraska got thrashed in the first 8 seconds of that game. That game was horrible.
Yeah. So what I remember about the Nebraska-Michigan game, as a quick aside, is I was up in Minnesota where I went to watch the next day a 17.5-point Minnesota Vikings favorite lose to Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, making them one of the biggest favorites to lose in a 20-year stretch.
Oh, that's rough.
And I remember walking away from it man, Josh Allen is really good. Also, I said a lot of swear words about Anthony Barr.
Yeah, luckily that loss aged maybe a little better.
Very well.
Yeah.
But at the time, it was okay, I went to a bar in Minneapolis and watched Nebraska just get murdered on national television.
Yeah.
And then the football team that I put most of my interest in murdered by Josh Allen.
I suppose the Nebraska getting bashed by Michigan didn't age super poorly, but it was over from the jump. That's for sure. Okay, that's enough on the context around the 2018 Nebraska-Troy football game. Let's talk about some. Honestly, we could get David's thought on this. David Schultz from Locked On Sunbelt joins us now on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. Good morning, David. Thanks for doing this. How are you?
Good morning, guys. You guys are talking Nebraska football? Is that what I heard?
Yes.
Which is a big shock.
Do you?
Just to let you know, just to bring back a memory that I have. We don't have too many good memories. I was in the last seat of the last row of the Carrier Dome back when it was the Carrier Dome, when a certain team from Nebraska came in and Todd Norley hit Mike Stiano in the corner of the end zone, and Syracuse football started its renaissance by taking down the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
Oh,
so
wow.
What year would that have been,
Dave? Segment good? Is that a bad way to start off the segment?
No, I mean, we were just talking about the 2018 Nebraska loss to Troy, so that, it's pretty much the same idea.
Copy that.
Do you remember anything about that? What were you doing at the time of that game?
2018. I don't remember 2018. I would have remembered the 2019. Didn't South Alabama come in there?
South Alabama came here in 19. Nebraska won kind of close. They needed
24-10.
They needed a bunch of defensive touchdowns.
Alex Davis scored a defensive touchdown.
And a couple of players for South Alabama got hurt right away. Not that South Alabama was all that good that year, but that game was closer than most people thought it was going to be. That's what I remember. That's when I started covering South Alabama. Was in 2019.
That is most certainly true. All right, let's get to basketball here. So Troy, out of course, the Sun Belt Conference, I want to talk about both of those things. I think the context for the league is really important here.
Definitely.
Because when you get into an NCAA tournament setting, that sort of thing that kind of thing matters. What is, if you could describe Sun Belt basketball as a whole, what kind of league is it? What is the style that is played?
Well, I don't know about style. Everyone's got their own style.
Sure.
We got teams that go up and down the court. You got South Alabama taking on Auburn today that gives up the most three-point attempts in the NCAAs, and it's not particularly close. You have some really good defensive teams. It is very competitive and sometimes very unpredictable. It's called, the nickname is the Fun Belt because teams out of nowhere, like ULM, will give Troy a scare as Troy beats ULM, team who had 4 wins all season long, and Troy beats them at the end by 1. So it's very competitive, but all different teams have different styles. Arkansas State, Brian Hodgson getting some play at USF. He may end up at Syracuse. Ryan Pannone took over for him. So they get out and they're like Nate Oates. They shoot the 3 and are looking for layups and free throws. So it's very competitive and different styles for different teams.
Just sort of locking in on Troy. I mean, one of the kind of the fascinating things to me is this is a team that largely hasn't needed to dip into the transfer portal because it's just built sort of within. And that's even after replacing a bunch of veterans that moved on. And so I guess I'm kind of curious how they've been able to sort of build this team without having to use what is now the very conventional manner of the portal.
I see what you did there. Lockdown Sun Belt, locking in on Troy. That's a great job.
There you go.
Really appreciate that. Well, they had a bunch of guys leave, and the Campbell brothers came with one of the coaches, so they invested in them. And then Thomas Dowd stayed, and Victor Valdez stayed, and Scott Cross is he's this great coach that didn't quite get UTA, University of Texas at Arlington, into the NCAA tournament. So they fired him from his alma mater where he played and coached. He went for a year to TCU to coach under Jamie Dixon for a year. And then Troy just happened to open up. Took them a couple of years, but now they've gone to back-to-back NCAA tournaments. And it's Scott Cross. He just knows what he's doing. He's a good coach. They buy in. Troy is an incredibly small town in Alabama. I think because of COVID, they don't have a movie theater anymore in Troy, Alabama. So it's really small, and they just invest in that town and in those players that they have. And a guy like Thomas Dowd has really stepped up this year for Troy.
While we're on the topic of Cross, I know there was some conversation, some chatter about him potentially taking another job. What is there anything new on that as far as him and his relationship with another job coming up like Georgia Tech?
Yeah, it seems to be that seems to be the one. I tried to push for him for Syracuse, but they seem to have their guys there. Georgia Tech seems like the situation. If it comes to that, that's because the former AD at Troy, who hired Scott Cross, is now a deputy AD at Georgia Tech. So that's where that connection comes in. But, I don't know about you guys, but I fell for the whole, someone went to great lengths to put out wrong times and announcers for the NCAA tournament on Twitter, on X. So I fell for that. So you don't know who's putting it out there on social media. But yes, his name has been connected repeatedly kind of over the last month for Georgia Tech, not just recently, but over the last month that may be where he ends up. And that's because of the connection with the former AD at Troy, now at Georgia Tech.
When Troy has struggled this year or lost or been challenged, what are the things that seem to give them the most problems, whether it's, something they're doing themselves or something an opponent can bring to the table?
Well, what Scott Cross would tell you is that they get selfish and stop sharing the ball. And they can do that. They beat Southern Miss in the semifinals, and I think they had a really good first half, and they went cold in the second half. Like, they went almost 11 minutes without getting a field goal, but Southern Miss kept fouling them, so they made free throws. They will go cold. They went cold against South Alabama the last time they played them. They get problems if they go cold and they start going one-on-one. If they start sharing the ball, all right, if Dowd is shooting threes, the Campbell brothers are driving to the bucket, Victor Valdez getting to the hoop, and they are sharing the ball. And if Theo Stain comes back, that gives them an inside presence. They are very good, and they are difficult to defend because they have a diverse offense. All right, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but Nebraska's going to live and die by that 3-point shot. All right, both offensively and defensively. And if those things aren't going their way, there may not be a plan B for Nebraska. Whereas Troy can shoot the three, but they can go inside. Troy's shot 200 more free throw attempts than Nebraska this year. So that's maybe where Troy has a little bit of an advantage. But they can go cold. If they stop sharing the ball, if they start going one-on-one, it's going to be big issues for Troy.
One of the numbers that stood out to me as we sort of poured over the individual stuff is you mentioned Valdez and how much he has been to the free throw line this year. He's not even in the top, 30 or 40, I don't think, of free throw attempts in the country this year. But it's still a whopping number when you look at it compared to Nebraska. About 220 trips to the line this year for Valdez. Nobody on Nebraska's roster has been there 80 times this year. And it does point to sort of what you mentioned, Nebraska being a little bit more finesse on offense. Is that, do you think they're, the sort of angle into this one for Troy, kind of take it downhill and see if you can get some whistles?
Absolutely. And so Cooper Campbell is generally the point guard, but Victor is kind of that point forward, kind of like Luka a little bit, obviously not quite as good, but he can, take smaller guys off of the dribble. He can shoot over smaller guys. Every time I did a recap, Victor Valdez had a Victor Valdez game where he had, 12 points, 8 rebounds and 6 assists. And that's the kind of versatility that he has. But yeah, they go to the free throw line a lot. And that's where maybe Troy has that a little advantage if they can get it inside against Nebraska. But Victor Valdez is it's a diverse kind of, offense compared to some of the other players some of the other teams that are in the Sun Belt.
So, I mean, they made the tournament last year. I believe they lost to Kentucky. Do I have that right?
Yeah.
Yep. As you compare just the teams year over year, I mean, how much of a difference, and I know it's different set of personnel and everything with the guys that moved on, how different are they year over year from where they were last year? And then which version would you take straight up?
Well, that's a good question. Last year they had Tate Connerway, and you guys know this. He seemed to be at that school for 15, 20 years. He was there forever. And he was the point guard, and he sort of dictated what the team did, whereas this is more a diverse. May take last year's team, but with all due respect to Nebraska, Kentucky was bigger and more athletic than Troy, and that was going to be a tough matchup to begin with. Nebraska is not nearly as athletic or as big as Kentucky. And so this Troy team has a shot at going in there, and I'd love seeing Nebraska fans, online. I've never seen a more realistic group of fans. They're like, we're going to get killed by Florida, but let's just win one ball game, and hopefully we win this one. They're all very nervous about this ball game because it seems like Troy seems to be a trendy pick. I guess John Rothstein from CBS picked Troy to win. Last year's Troy team may be better, but this is a better matchup for Troy this season between the two teams.
Troy wins if. Is there a stat that you're thinking about or just a trend that happens in the game? Troy wins if, fill in the blank.
Troy wins if they shoot over 30% from three, right? And shoot more than 20 free throws, basically. Now, if Nebraska shoots 40% from three, then it's going to be all over.
Right.
But those would be the two things that I would look. What does Troy shoot from three? What does Nebraska shoot from three? And how many more free throws does Troy shoot than Nebraska?
Okay.
Right? If the free throws are even, it's going to be a problem. If Nebraska's making 15 threes, it's going to be a problem. If Troy can make some threes to open up the inside game and get to the free throw line, then Troy's going to have a shot. But if Nebraska shoots the lights out, which again, thank you, Captain Obvious, is going to be a problem for Troy. But Troy's got multiple defenses from a matchup zone to man-to-man to a 2-3 zone. They can match up the way they're going to do it, and Scott Frost will make adjustments along the way. But I don't think you don't have to be John Wooden to figure that out. Who shoots it better from three and who defends the three, and the free throw line is going to be the difference in this game.
Yep. David Schultz from Locked On Sunbelt Conference. All right, David, we appreciate you joining, especially
Thanks so much for your time
this early. Appreciate you, and have a good rest of your week.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me on.
All right, David Schultz you can check him out. Locked on Sunbelt, covering the whole Sunbelt Conference. Must be a Syracuse guy, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I gathered.
Sweet.
That's what I gathered. I think he's in Louisville now.
Troy, this is one of the stats that I was going to read you later, so you can act like you're surprised when I tell you. Troy is 11-0 when shooting equal or better than 35% from behind the three-point line in an individual game.
That's kind of wild.
They do not shoot the three particularly well, but if they do turn on that faucet, it's good for them.
That has to talk so much about just sheer volume too.
Yeah, I don't think they shoot it much.
Oh, really?
To be honest with you,
So they took a lot of threes. I must have that wrong in my head then.
Oh, they do. Actually, you're right. I apologize. Yeah, they do. Top 60 in the country in that.
Yeah, I think it's just a huge volume play because if they're shooting above 35% and shooting, however many threes a game.
Let's see if I go back to their most recent game. And they didn't shoot it a lot in the Sunbelt Championship game. 5 of 17 in that game. Anyway, it's not a team that shoots the ball very well from three. Like you said, volume's a different thing. However, it's
weird to be a slow-paced volume 3-point shooting team to me.
With that being, and they're so bad at shooting threes too. It's just sort of an odd.
They have an odd statistical profile.
It definitely is an odd statistical
and
profile.
I think it sort of speaks to where they play, but I mean, we'll see. They'll have their opportunity, obviously, Thursday, and we'll see how Nebraska defends it, and we'll see if they get hot.
Yeah, we'll have more on that. I want to read Schaefer some stats as we go on throughout the show today. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back around at the hour after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, welcome back. Connor Happer, Mike Schaefer, Joey Colbert with you this morning. Haven't done this yet, / mentioned it at all. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Good morning.
Very nice.
Happy St. Patty's Day.
That's all I got. I'm not much of a St. Patrick's Day celebrator.
I was not either. I'm still really not, but I married into
You married into a very festive family.
Yeah, well, they're a festive family. There's no question.
They
on that.
celebrate things.
But they really like St.
I did
Patrick's.
too, for the record. Now, the thing that I have going for me is it's my brother-in-law's birthday, which I'm excited to
Nice.
celebrate tonight at a restaurant, and I'm excited to eat at that restaurant.
Where you'll get to watch UMBC.
I don't know if this
Probably
place.
not television.
They got True TV.
You use restaurant, so it doesn't seem like there would be television.
It's not like a It's not like a super duper nice restaurant, but
okay.
it is a restaurant that I'm excited to go to.
Okay.
If that makes.
I'm
any
excited for
sense.
you.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Joey.
I think it makes sense to be excited for restaurants that maybe aren't even super duper nice restaurants.
I enjoy restaurants.
Yeah, I do too.
As long as it's not California Pizza Kitchen, it's all good.
It's not that, Joey. If I told you that I was going there for a celebration, what would you say?
I would judge you
That makes sense. Silently or loudly?
silently.
That's nice.
It's my way.
At least he's polite enough to be like,
I mean,
I would just hide it from you. You know?
Joey doesn't seem like he would be outwardly loud if he was
No, he would never be like, "What
Yeah.
are you doing?"
I'm very
unhappy
polite.
with your life decisions.
Okay, so maybe you guys could judge me on this. Am I crazy for being like moderately to maybe a lot more excited about the 2026 Kansas City Royals because of their individual performances in the World Baseball Classic?
I
that
think it would
crazy?
be natural. I mean,
Thank
you
you.
had one of your players hit 3 home runs in the same game.
He did.
You've had Michael Garcia had at least a 4-hit game at one point in the WBC.
He had a big hit last night.
And yeah, I mean, he had a big hit last night. I mean, he out of any of those guys, maybe you have the biggest is what he did last year, repeatable sort of question, you know, because it's not that it didn't come out of nowhere, but it was a big step
he
up
jumped on, yeah, for sure.
for what he had done previously. And my fantasy team was very thankful for it a year ago. We couldn't replicate getting him at $4.
You're welcome.
So yeah, no, I would have liked to have him back at such a low salary, but nevertheless, I'm trying to think of it. You know,
Bobby Witt Jr.
But you know, he's at this level where you sort of just expect him to be one of the best players in the world.
Have you
And so you
come over to
don't-
my corner of now believing me that he's going to win the American
No,
League MVP?
I don't. I
Why
mean-
not?
You understand that the guy who has received the most votes for the American League MVP
He wins
to
all
never
the
win it?
time. He wins all
No,
the time.
You're not. You didn't.
I
listen
didn't
to
hear
the
you
finish.
out. No.
The guy who has received the most votes and never won the American League MVP is Jose Ramirez.
What's that supposed to mean?
He has the most top 5 finishes. Like his vote total with never winning an MVP.
Oh, so you think they're going to give it to him?
No.
Oh,
I'm telling you that it's very difficult to win the American League MVP. That when a guy hit 39 home runs, 41 steals, I think he finished 3rd that year.
yeah. So
You know, and then he didn't win the Gold Glove last year because Michael Garcia won it. But he plays tremendous. Like Jose Ramirez is an all-around outstanding baseball player. He is very,
he definitely
very good.
is. I love Jose Ramirez.
It requires to be even better than that and still better than Judge and whoever else.
Now,
in
here's the
as well.
thing. Here's the thing. He has now reached a different level of stardom. Bobby Wood Jr.
Yeah, no, I
has.
agree.
He has now reached a.
I'm just trying to prepare you for the difficult to get to the summit. Because, like, Jose Ramirez is
I don't know,
right there.
the big tall guy,
He's like right
the big
there.
tall guy who plays in a tiny baby ballpark. He wins all the time. It's time to give it to a shorter man.
Look, we agree on that.
Your
too.
guy, my guy, whichever one. I'd
Yeah.
prefer mine, but yours is fine.
I don't care if he wins the MVP or not because he's going into the Hall of Fame 5 years after he retires. So that's fine for me either way.
I'm just telling people so that they hear me now and that it's seared into their head. He's going to win the MVP this year.
Okay.
And you keep telling me that he won't for a variety of different nonsensical reasons. And I will tell you that he is going to do it. And he, in the World Baseball Classic this year, he has not tempered my expectations, whatsoever.
He's been very good.
And I will say that this is not like exactly a Royals segment, but I do really like Vinny in his, he's sort of become the face of this team, the Italian team. I think,
which unfortunately they're done now.
They are done now.
They hadn't lost until they lost, and now they're out.
Which I think that's really cool. Like, I think that means something. Salvador Perez is obviously the heart and soul of Venezuela, but we knew that, a long time ago. And Michael has been
in his life that he hasn't been the heart and soul of.
That is a great question.
I mean, the guy was probably the heart and soul of every team he was ever on at any point in time. Probably the heart and soul of anything he's ever done.
Yeah.
It's just heart and soul is Salvador Perez.
Salvador heart
say
and
this as
soul
someone
Perez.
Who's been jealous of him for roughly his entire career.
He's awesome, and I hope that he has at least one more good year left in his legs, which I'm unsure about. All right, that's my excitement level for the World Baseball Classic in the 2026
finale is tonight.
Kansas City Royals tonight. It's U.S. in
Who's
Venezuela.
pitching for each team?
Enjoy. We got to take a break. We'll be back with the 7:00 hour after this. All right, welcome back. 7 o'clock hour of Happer and Schaefer. You're on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Mike Schaefer. Also, good morning to our friends in central Nebraska, 97.7 The Zone. Listening on FM radio. I'll have you know, if you're listening on FM radio in central Nebraska right now, the people in eastern Nebraska are very jealous of you. They're like, what happened? Why don't we get an FM signal? To which I say, great question. Great question. And we
Don't have an answer.
We would love to talk to you in crystal clear FM, but in order to do that, you're going to have to go to Grand Island or the surrounding communities.
I got a great mall in Grand Island. I went to
Road
it a
trip.
lot as a child.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I haven't been to like Grand Island, the city, in a long time. Spent a lot of time in Hastings and Kearney in my days, but not so much Grand Island.
You know what this actually opens up for us to do?
Take a trip. Take a drive.
We could do a show from Grand Island at Island Oasis, and it could be the second time you and I have done radio from a water park.
That is a great idea, first of all. Second of all, we would always, because we would go visit my grandparents in Hastings, and you get off at the 281, Highway 281 exit, and you go south instead of you going north to Grand Island. And they have the billboard about a half mile before exit 312.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, it says Island Oasis, Grand Island. And I'm like, whoa, hang on.
Yeah.
This place sounds amazing. Can we go? And the answer was always no.
It was amazing as a kid. And it was the first place I had ever discovered a lazy river, which was one of the coolest things. The water slides are great. Like, I love water slides, still love water slides. The lazy river, though, was just an amazing addition to water for me.
By the way, I have some unfortunate news for you. Apparently, the mall that you were referencing has been destroyed, demolished. That's what Mike says. The Great Mall got demolished.
Oh, no.
When was the last time you were at the Great Mall?
I probably would have been somewhere in middle school. So let's say
it's been some time.
2000. Let's say 2000.
Maybe in the neighborhood of 30
years ago. The malls I
ago.
spent the most time in my life that weren't in Columbus were in Norfolk and Grand Island, because that's where we went for the majority of the time. If like you were going to go shopping,
I thought you were going to talk about the Imperial Mall in Hastings, which also has gone by the wayside.
Imperial Mall in Hastings.
It was lovely.
I never spent that much time in Hastings.
It was lovely.
I've not been to Hastings before. I've been to Grand Island.
Get Joey to Hastings.
The last time I was in Grand Island was at the Nebraska
that.
State Fair. But have you guys been onto that overpass thing over in Kearney? That little
Yes,
bridge?
I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've not been over there as well. I've been always eager to stop over
I
there.
have a friend that swears that the best fudge that's ever made is sold in the Arch at the
Number one fudge.
Yeah.
Well, next time I head over to Colorado,
weird
that's
place for the best fudge to be found.
Big Fudge. Wasn't that Jason Siegel's nickname in How I Met Your Mother? They call him Big Fudge.
Sounds right.
For a couple episodes. Anyway, let's take a phone call on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. Here's old man Doug. Good morning, Doug.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Good. Hey, Equitable Bank's headquarters are in Grand Island.
Look at that. It's all coming together
All
for
comes
us.
together.
They're all going to be calling me now, and they're going to be wanting me to change my ad to be more Grand Island centric.
I don't think you're un-Grand Island centric, Doug. Doug, you pretty much
No.
appeal to all audiences.
Yes, I actually had people.
Are they
in Hawaii
answering on the
came up
first-
to me?
Are they answering on the first ring out there too?
I can't guarantee that because I can just control what goes on in Omaha. How's
Okay.
that?
That's good enough for me.
We want to make sure on that.
So, I'm not gonna jive with the Crown
What?
for Creighton.
Why?
Happer, you get paid by Creighton. I get it. You can't give your real opinion on it, but
That's
it's just,
not true.
He's a Crown man
I
now.
love the Crown. I've always loved the
You
Crown.
didn't love the Crown last year.
I didn't
Place in it.
I talked about the Crown
You're
until the
busted.
final
You're
when I did a bit and ignored it.
You're busted.
Maybe.
And I thought Andrew was pissed off or something. I hadn't heard from him forever.
Yeah, he usually calls in at like 6:04 and just rips
I
off
know.
something, but that one was a little bit later. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe not getting Jackson Richardson did it to him.
Yeah, maybe.
I think Creighton should spend the time, either Mac or Huss, I'm not real wild about this mystery either, whether he's coming back or not. I love Mac. Believe me, I'm not. Mac gets a mulligan this year, but for a fan, I just can't watch this team play another game. And I think they have everything to lose and nothing to gain by playing in this. I get it. You get and actually that would be the most Creighton thing this year, because I think the biggest criticism is this is probably the highest paid roster Creighton's ever had. And look at what the results are. And that's, I get, and as a fan, we're paying for that. And so then to go out and I mean, number one, it's at 9:30, and being that I'm old, it's past my bedtime, I'm not going to watch the game. And so I agree with Joey. I'm sure Joey bailed.
He did.
I definitely bailed.
Was able to bail. My only criticism of Joey, and I love Joey, but that song, and was Stibbs in that song? Oh God, what was the song? And
was it for Somebody's Open on this show?
Yeah, was it for Brunts?
No, it was somebody else.
Brian Christopherson, the Thimble Man.
Yeah, I think it could have been that one.
Okay.
And I can't sing either, Joey, but I don't sing on.
Well, it'd be Brunts's, right?
Yeah.
Joey's-
Brunts' Open's the one I'm singing in.
Whatever.
Okay.
Either way, yeah, I get it.
It's almost as bad as Odson's "I Have an Opinion" show song.
At least that one didn't last as long. That there is that piece.
I don't
of
think
it.
I know this.
It's just a quick 4
Okay.
seconds. I have an opinion.
Are you guys doing poll questions?
Yeah, I've definitely stumbled upon a couple, but I haven't said poll question out loud very much. So maybe those are
Okay,
just kind of
well-
going away.
Everybody can prove me wrong. Do a poll question and see how many people care that Creighton's playing in the Crown.
That will not be a good poll question. It will be.
Because you'll prove that I'm right.
Yeah, but we don't get Creighton fans to vote on the poll questions. It's just bombarded by Nebraska fans.
It'll be great.
Yeah.
They're gonna love it.
I mean, honestly, last year in Nebraska strutting around about the Crown, I'm rooting for Nebraska, by the way, but it got to be stupid last year. And
Nothing stupid about it, Doug.
wasn't a good.
Do they win 20 straight games coming off of a Crown title? You let me know.
We've awoken Crown Schaefer all of a sudden. Look
The
what you did,
Crown
Doug.
had nothing to do with this year.
You don't think the Crown mattered to Cale Jacobson?
No. Well, it mattered to Cale.
You probably
Jacobson.
didn't watch if you don't think it mattered to Cale Jacobson.
Oh, it mattered to him. I would love to have Cale Jacobson on Creighton. I'd love to have Sam Hoiberg on Creighton team. Actually, that's what we're lacking. But I'm just saying the fans, not the team, the fans made a bigger deal out of it than it was. And we're playing Rutgers. What are they, 11-16?
Who knows, Doug? I have no idea.
I mean, it's the disappointing season tournament is what they ought to call it. And, and I don't know if Creighton plays well, what are we going to say? Where was that all year?
No.
I just don't see the value in it. I just don't. I really don't.
All right, Doug. Well,
that's me.
Yep. It's good to hear from you as always.
Everyone can bash me after I hang up.
You'll be okay, I'm sure. Thanks for the call, Doug.
That is a hell of a sound effect when you drop the call.
Good rant gong, Joey. Nobody actually cares about nobody actually cares about the crowd. It's I'm gonna sit up there and watch it because it's Creighton basketball. That's what I'm gonna do. And Nebraska fans watched it last year because it was Nebraska basketball, and that's what they do.
And I'm not,
and when they get to the finals, you get to or when they win this stupid thing, whatever it is, it doesn't mean it's important or anything. It's an opportunity for you to throw barbs at your biggest rival, which is 12 feet down the road from you. That's it. It's all made up. It's a Fugazi. It's a Fugazi. It's a whoozy whatsy. It's nothing. which is why I'm going to enjoy the crap out of it. I'm going to love the Crown. I'm going to be Mr. Crown. They should fly me out.
Ooh, you're gonna be Mr. Crown?
Yeah. They should fly me. I'll do the hype videos. I'll do the hype in the arena. I'm very familiar with the MGM Garden Grand Arena.
Yeah, look.
Creighton's played many basketball games with 12 people there before.
You can be up at 5 and do the show and then take a nap in between.
Oh my God. Would it be 5 there? Or would it be 4?
1 hour behind, right?
Well, I don't know. I never know whether they have.
Ooh, maybe they're 2 now.
I think they're 2. I think they're always 2. To be honest with you.
So then you just wouldn't go to sleep.
Yeah, see, they would be too hard.
Show.
It would be too hard to do the show. I'd have to take a couple days off of the show, which I don't think is happening, especially considering the stuff that's.
Yeah, they're 2 hours.
Yeah, I got some other stuff going on too. I'm not going to the Crown. I would like to for the bit, and I do like going to Vegas, but I think I have to stay here. I have to stay here.
You have to stay here.
Well, now that we're on this topic, I was going to read Schaefer a bunch of stats. We'll still have time for that. Don't worry. Here's Jeff on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. Good morning, Jeff.
Morning, guys. How are you?
Great. How are you?
Terrific. Hey, I just had a few comments based upon that last caller. And Schaefer, I hope you appreciate this. I'm old enough to remember when Creighton was horrible and they couldn't put 2,500 people in the Civic Auditorium. And as bad as Nebraska basketball has been historically, Nebraska basketball fans have stuck by that team no matter what. And that's really the rub between Nebraska basketball fans and Creighton basketball fans, is that Creighton doesn't recall their history. They went on a nice period of success, but Creighton basketball fans, and they're all pharmacists or dentists or lawyers that couldn't get into Nebraska law school, think they invented the game. And that's the problem.
Okay, Jeff. Thank you for the call. Appreciate it.
I have to agree with what Jeff's saying.
God.
You've forgotten your roots.
I have forgotten my roots. Yes, I definitely
Your
have.
pharmacy school roots.
I am a pharmacist, of course, as you know. I am also a dentist, and I don't remember anything that happened prior to 2021. That is definitely me, a Creighton fan.
I mean, I can't speak to what Creighton was.
If I didn't remember anything prior to 2021, how would I know anything about the 2015 Kansas City Royals, who won the World Series?
You could have read about it in a book.
Yeah, we do the broad general statement thing all the time. It's just it's hard to put everybody into a box. It's all Creighton fans are this, Nebraska fans are this, Creighton fans are that, whatever. Everybody's got a different story. It's okay.
I don't know. I'm not well versed in Creighton's history beyond when, for me, it basically started with Terrell Taylor. Like that's around that era.
That's where history started for most Creighton.
Yeah, around that era,
most people
is
now,
when Creighton came of existence.
Most people my age, for sure.
But
that was the first Creighton thing I ever remember happening. I remember being at my friend's house and they made that shot. Then they went on to play Illinois, and I'm like, oh my God, this is incredible. Because I think I had gone to like I don't know. Let's see, that was what 2002. Yeah, and I guess I would have. Yeah, I guess I'd probably gone to like a basketball camp down there at the time, and I'm like, all right.
They had lost a couple times in the tournament before that, right?
Yes, they definitely. Yeah, they got there. They got there several times before that. They were, that was the first thing that I remember.
Right, and so it's. I mean, I have memories of them before that, but that's sort of that's sort of where it began, at least in terms of like
I don't know why we're
the
talking
run
about
of
this.
Creighton or the popularity of Creighton, at least to me.
Jimmy writes in, if truth serum was injected, I bet you many Creighton fans grew up CU fans because Nebraska sucked. I mean, I suppose that could be possible. It was just so present to me. I still feel like there's always the disconnect between people who lived in Omaha and grew up in Omaha and then people who did not. And it's hard to understand it's hard to understand the other person's point of view. I never once considered Nebraska basketball as a child. Didn't think about it. Didn't really know it existed.
Well, I think
until I got the video game and I saw that they had the basketball on the free throw line, and I thought that was pretty cool.
It was cool.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind if that came back.
That did not make me become a Nebraska basketball fan.
Disappointing. Real opportunity.
Sad for many. Sad for many. Okay, we have a what are we doing? We have a different Jeff on the line
it's
now.
A different one.
Are we sure it's a different Jeff? Okay. All right, here we go. Hi, Jeff. Good morning.
You think more people can't
It
forgive
is a
Jeff?
different Jeff. I'm the positive Jeff.
Okay,
So,
positive
my
Jeff.
thought-
We like positive Jeff.
Positive Jeff. But I believe in the basketball gods, and I think the basketball gods in the state of Nebraska have decided that both teams can't be good at the same time. So I would love it if they both were. I think that would be awesome, but it just seems like one is going to be good, one's not going to be very good. And maybe we're on the cusp of maybe that's going to change, but right now that to me is where we're at in the system. Is the basketball gods say only one team can be good in the state at a time.
Interesting, Jeff. Let's evaluate that. So 2014, they both went to the tournament the same year.
2024, same.
2024, they both went to the tournament same year.
I mean, I will say, like,
it's easier to go back and count the times where
Creighton's-
Nebraska did make the tournament because there's so few of them.
right. So part of Creighton's
People forget that.
rise stems in that long stretch between Nebraska's tournament, drought. Like, that's where Creighton had Kyle Korver.
1999 to
That's where the Terrell
2014
Taylor- yeah, I
or
mean,
whatever it was. 1990. No, it was earlier than that, wasn't it?
98 was the
98,
last
yeah.
tournament appearance, I'm pretty sure. So, and Creighton, as we said, had made it a couple times prior to the Terrell Taylor shot. And then you go all the way up to 2014 between those two. Like, they had how many tournament appearances in there? 9?
Creighton?
Yeah.
Oh, it wasn't it
8?
wasn't an every year thing. But it was. So you're talking about like from 2000 to 2014, basically.
Yeah, let's say
it wasn't an every year. My guess would be probably
that's 15 years,
5 to 6, something
I think
like
it's
that.
higher than that, because you have Korver in there, you have McDermott's in there
Nate
for multiple
Funk.
years. So I would guess that.
All right, here we go.
All right, there we
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
8. All right, was off by 1.
But that includes 14. So I suppose
7. Yeah.
There you go. They missed it. They missed the tournament 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times in that span.
So
They made it more than they missed it.
like that. That certainly, if the university in your state, like your largest school in your state, is not making the tournament at all in that stretch, and they're making it 8 times or 7 times, that's certainly going to be able to capture people who want to watch basketball and winning basketball.
Yeah, I still think people underestimate the. This is so dumb. I can't believe we're having this stupid conversation again. But like,
We're here,
I still think there's people who
courtesy of the crown.
who severely underestimate that there are a lot of people who just do not care about Nebraska, the University of Nebraska at all, and it is not present in their mind whatsoever. Like, that's a lot of people. There's a lot of people like that in Omaha.
Yeah.
I know what the image is of the state of Nebraska in your mind. It is not necessarily the case for the city of Omaha. Now, obviously there's a lot of Nebraska fans, but there's people who are just like, no, I mean, I either went to Creighton or I grew up with it, and I don't think about it. It's down there. It's out of sight. It's out of mind.
Yeah.
I don't identify with it. That's not me. And I think there's a lot more people like that than anyone ever. When we talk about this stupid, idiotic conversation that we never talk about that part of it, that
What's
section
funny
of
to
the
me
fan
is,
base,
like, I think that's
which I think that represents a lot
plainly
of it.
obvious, because it would.
No,
just-
but nobody says it. I mean, nobody ever talks about it. Everyone's just like, oh, the Creighton fans are bandwagon J-skers. Like, no, most Creighton fans don't think about Nebraska at all.
I don't know if I would say most. You really think it's most?
Once again, stupid, idiotic conversation.
Well, sure, but whatever. We don't have to continue down.
That is a great idea, because if you wanted to find a way to get me triggered this morning, it is this dumbass conversation. God,
I love the
why
crowd.
can't we just live? This has nothing to do with the crowd.
Oh, it does.
It absolutely does not.
Okay.
This is a
You
conversation
tell yourself that.
every single day. Every single day, people call in there. There's like the Creighton fans. I bet you can't wait till the spring game, right?
It has nothing to do with the crown. That's not how we got here at all. That's not why I wouldn't have gotten a tweet from one of our listeners yesterday about how Creighton lives rent-free in my head because I tweeted about the crown, right? Like, this is what we were talking about how the barbs back and forth. This is what it is.
Yeah.
That was Jeff's call.
Yeah.
That's how he even got to this point.
Okay. So yes, we have the crown to thank for all of this then. But no, I'm not. I have no opinion on Creighton being in the crown or not. Like, I think it's great. They get to play in the postseason.
I don't think it's a bad thing that they're continuing to play basketball. Like, that's the biggest takeaway I have. Like, I don't see that. I don't see how that could be a bad thing, assuming that they want to, and it seems that they do.
They do.
So I don't give it.
Somebody told me that there was a cash prize at the end of the rainbow for this. Is this true?
Well, there was, I think, last year.
Somebody said $300,000.
That sounds about right.
That sounds amazing.
Now, it would be cool if Nebraska gave a breakdown for how that $300,000 was allotted out last year. I don't know. Just like every player gets a percentage.
Did it all go to Berkay Buchton jail?
Could have.
It could have.
Depending on who you talk to, it could have all went to Braxton Mia, too.
By the way, phones are closed on this conversation. Back after this on 1620 The Zone. This week's Zone's half-off deal is to Langfeld Overhead Doors. Get a $600 LiftMaster garage opener for just $300 on sale Friday at 9/16/20thezone.com. You could find more information on that website as well. Okay, let's get to these stats. We are not taking any more calls about anything else. Well, about other things we'll take calls about, but not about the dumbass conversation that we just had for the last 15 minutes. So here are some stats. By the way, shout out to Matt Eisenberg, who does this every year. I've been on this now for probably this is the 5th or 6th year, where he puts out a gigantic statistical driven NCAA tournament.
I'm excited to learn more about this
preview. It's in the rundown sheet, the link to it if you'd like to look at it, Schaefer. So
NCAA tournament guide maker.
Yeah, it's great. This is the best resource. I tweeted it out yesterday. I think I responded to it in a quote tweet, and I just said, "Let's go" or something like that. I'll find it and send it out again today if people want to look at the NCAA tournament in a stat-driven manner. So here's some things that I pulled out of there that could or could not be, I suppose, relevant to Nebraska in the NCAA tournament. And I want to get Schaefer's reaction to these individual statistics. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. How does this make you feel? Four seeds are 48-12 over the last 15 NCAA tournaments in the round of 64.
So I saw you put this on the rundown, and then I tried to do the math on it, and then I tried to figure out why my math was not math.
Because we didn't have an NCAA tournament in 2020.
Okay. That helps. It makes me feel pretty good. So it's what, one out of every 5 games is a win.
We had basically been averaging 1 a year.
Yeah.
Until every single 1 through 4 went undefeated last year.
Yeah.
Which was sort of surprising. And I think people have been sort of pointing to that. And they've been like, oh, this represents this big shift and change and gap is big.
Yeah, so you were talking about what were you saying? You were seeing a lot of on Twitter. Anyways, I was seeing a lot of that.
Yeah.
Sort of.
The gap's never been larger.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's
probably true.
It's interesting because it's like I get 2 different types of random gambling stuff that's getting retweeted into my timeline, and one of them is that the gap's never been larger. Yeah. And then the other one is largely like, hey, if you're going to take an underdog, Troy smells really good here. And it's not people related to Nebraska. It's like, you know, people around counts all over.
Sure.
And it's just, I don't know if it's just Nebraska accounts that are just retweeting it at this point, but it keeps ending up in my timeline.
Yeah, I think on one hand, it can be true that the gap has never been larger. And I think that points to a variety of different things that are going on with the sport right now. I also need to hammer home the fact that this is the tournament. This is the Bleepin' Catalina wine mixer. Okay. Crazy stuff happens.
I can never remember his name. No one predicted that the guy
Jack Golke
would take out Kentucky by himself.
Yeah. By himself.
A legitimately good Kentucky team.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know if by himself is fair, but it felt like it was.
I don't know how many points he had in that game. It was at least 30. He was ripping off threes.
It was
like
55, and I'd be like, yeah, I believe it.
Yeah.
You were like, yeah, he went bam out of.
Crazy stuff happens. Crazy stuff happens in the tournament. And so what I'm trying to capture, and I think what Matt does a good job of capturing in his breakdown is like trends over a long period of time. We're talking about 15 tournaments now. So 4 seeds, 48-12 over the last 15. When the 4 seed is favored by 8.5 or more points, the 4 seed in a round of 64 matchup against a 13 is 32-4 straight up when they are favored by.
Makes me feel better.
Okay, good. The last 2 13s to win. Can you name them, by the way?
Okay, the last 2 13s.
The last 2 13s to win in the round of 64. There wasn't one last year.
So you got to go to 2024.
And there was one in each of the last 2 years before that.
I can't come up with it off the top of my head.
2024 Yale beat Auburn.
Yep.
And then the one
I
before
watched
that
that one.
was the famous one. Furman beat Virginia in
Yeah, that's
2023.
the game with Stan Van Gundy, Kevin Harlan on
Yes,
the call.
I'm
and
sure you've seen that a lot
Virginia,
this week. Yeah.
I still have no idea what they were doing at the end of that game.
Yeah.
No one does.
By the way, those days of Virginia are gone. I'm kind of like Team Virginia right now.
They were like that game against, and I know Duke is not at full strength or whatever. That game against Duke was really good.
Big Ten teams. How does this make you feel? Big Ten teams are 21-10 when they've been on the 4 through 6 line since 2010. 21-10.
Not great, but there's probably a high amount of sixes in there.
I would imagine so. Yeah, 4 is very different from a 6.
I think it is. Like
he split it for some reason from 1 to 3,
Sure.
and then 4 to 6.
And then Purdue alone probably accounts for 3 of those 10 losses.
Actually, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, it's actually I kind of like how he split that 1 to 3, 4 to 6. Like, it represents that there is there's a lot of stuff when you go from about 4 to 8 that are pretty much the same,
Mm-hmm.
but then like 6 to 11 is kind of the same, and so there's this kind of Venn diagram of all these teams in there. Anyway, 21-10 on the 4 to 6 line since 2010. Sun Belt teams are 3-10. Now I couldn't figure out the numbers on this one. Sun Belt teams are 3-10 in the round of 64 since 2010. There must have been a year where I can't figure out. I can't account for the lack of the missing 2 Sun Belt teams in there. And maybe they went to the play-in game and lost.
That could be.
Is it possible? Yeah. So
That could
anyway,
be.
3-10.
Look that up.
So Sun Belt teams have only won 3 games in the round of 64 over the last 15 tournaments. Okay. Stat that, and I was sort of curious about that too. So yeah, maybe I don't know how you would find that information. Don't grok it. Schaefer, don't listen to the grok.
This is AI overview, not grok.
That doesn't know
Very
anything
different.
either.
That's not where I was going. I'm working through this like a normal person.
Okay, good. I just get worried when people start grokking stuff all over the place. Weird. All right. While you're at it, here's another one. Better seeds as a 12.5 to 20-point favorite, which Nebraska does fall in the range of at the moment. They're 13.5-point favorite. So Nebraska, check, better seed. Nebraska, 13.5-point seed favorite, check. In the last 15 tournaments are 89-11. Those teams are 89-11, which honestly, I think statistically, if you're just looking at it on paper, you would think that number would be higher. But as it's played out over a long period of time, like I said, it
90%.
is the tournament. It
Yeah.
is going to. There are going to be
Margin
crazy things
for,
that happen. But I'm talking about significant. I mean, that's a significant favorite and usually a pretty significant seed gap there too, which is of course what we're talking about. And then some team specific stuff. I have 3 of them for you, and I mentioned one of them earlier. Number 1, Nebraska is 14-0 this season when they are even or plus in offensive rebound percentage.
Yep.
They are 22-3 when even or plus in turnover percentage this year. So possessions of their offensive possessions that are turnovers. That is, those are 2 things that I would point out.
Let's see. Would be the losses would be Michigan. I
don't know. I to be honest with you, I have no idea.
It's Michigan, Iowa, and pretty sure Illinois. But I think the 2 Purdue games they turned it over, and the UCLA game they turned it over.
So what would that leave them at? So if they're 22-3 in those numbers, that's 25 games where we have to account for 7 more games.
Yeah,
basically. So 4-3.
Yep.
Basically. There you go. So like I said, 22-3 when even in the or plus in the turnover percentage. Troy, this was the number that I tweeted out last night, and people thought I was obsessed with Troy or something.
You got the night tweets?
Troy, I got a night tweet. Troy's Victor Valdez, as we talked about earlier in the show with our guest, David, not only has he shot 220 free throws this year, which off face was kind of an absurd number, and then I looked it up. AJ DeBanza has shot like 285 free throws this year.
Whoa.
If you want to look at like foul merchant guys in the NCAA tournament, or guys who are just too big and too good at basketball to be able to let by you. I mean, basically, it's like the Bam Adebayo experience, like every night trying to guard AJ DePanza, which has been the case. So
they need it too.
It's like top 50-ish, I think, in the country, but not much more than that.
I would have thought it'd be higher.
There's like a lot of people who have shot more than 220 free throws this year, which was sort of absurd to me. But obviously, that is a significant number. He led Sunbelt play in fouls drawn per 40. He draws nearly 7 fouls per 40 minutes.
Jeez.
Nearly 7 fouls per 40 minutes. And once again, the rub there is a couple different things. Number one, Nebraska is a team that doesn't foul very much. They don't play pressure defense. They don't foul. And obviously, when they're closing out, they're attempting to not foul you, and that's when Nebraska is at their best, really defensively, when they really, really close out on shooters. So that'll be a sort of interesting rub to this. And then the other thing is nobody on Nebraska's roster has shot 80 free throws this year. They just don't.
The most being...
It's very close at the top.
It's got to be like 3 guys.
There's 2 of them that are in the high 70s. Mast has 77, Sanford has 75, and Lawrence has 72, and Frager has 76.
I was gonna guess Frager was one of them, but then Mast, I guess, makes sense too.
They all shoot good percentages from the line, but they don't get to the line, and that's right. And Nebraska gets to the line. Bottom 15 in the country as far as fewest, attempts from the free throw line this year. That's not their game. So what does that mean for them in a game where, you're sort of able to put this accurate picture together of both these sides? And it's very, very different, obviously, on both sides. I mean, Troy's trying to slow things down to a grinding halt and throw rocks up against a wall and get to the free throw line. And so I will say this, it does open up the conversation to how is the game officiated? And what does the whistle look like in the game? Which I'm sure that was going to be a conversation no matter what happened.
Yeah. It's fascinating because you have a slow, grinded out team that shoots a ton of threes that also gets a bunch of free throws. Like, it's just, again, Troy's statistical profile is very odd to me when you factor in all of these different things. I think it bodes kind of well for Nebraska because I have a tough time seeing Troy getting to the line 20 times the way that, David said they'd have to shoot over 35 and get to the line 20 times.
Yeah. Nebraska just doesn't foul that much. And so that would be how does Nebraska decide to defend, a guy like Valdez who is just attempting to get to the free throw line all the time? Like, do they run a couple different guys to him so that they can avoid some foul trouble that way? Like, it'll be interesting to see what.
Well, and you think about the type of fouls they tend to get a lot of, and it's usually big men that are causing it, and that's not what Troy really brings to the table.
No,
like there's like Keaton Wagler was able to get fouls, but it's a very different way than what I'm guessing Victor Valdez does.
No, he's shooting almost exclusively from 2-point range.
Yeah.
I mean, that's his kind of deal. Actually, not almost exclusively. He's got a pretty decent high volume of threes this year, but he's not making hardly any of them. 21%.
They're better than Bear K.
Is it better than Bear K? What's Bear K sitting at now?
It's not great.
Oh, 21.7.
Okay.
Round Bear K up to 22. And Mr. Valdez from Troy is at a flat 21.
All right.
So not better than Bear K.
All right. I apologize to Bear K.
Not better
I think it was
than Bear K.
Bear K and Garcia we had combined were at like 17%.
Yeah, it was pretty bad for the.
Now Garcia has splashed a couple more.
He did make 2 in that Purdue game and then proceeded to do nothing afterwards. And one more, Troy is 11-0 when shooting equal or better to 35%. From behind the 3-point line in an individual game. So if you could turn them off from 3-point land, which Nebraska has done a pretty good job of this season, then you're going to turn off one of their primary scoring options.
Is it weird that stat doesn't bother me much, particularly?
Well, I mean, you always run the risk of teams getting hot. I mean, that's basically what we're talking about.
No, and I get that, but it's like, I guess there's a part of me that, Nebraska's played in some of these games where a team shoots 40% from three and they've still figured out how to win the game. And they have a better overall talent than what Troy's going to bring to the table here. Now, I guess the difference is just sheer volume. And so I think maybe that's what I'm not accounting for, that if they shoot 38% from three and they make 16 threes, that's going to be a huge, thing. But if you're shooting 38%, you're making 16, you're taking, I don't know, like 44 or whatever.
Yeah, right. So I'm looking how Nebraska's done defensively from 3-point land recently. Obviously, yes, they're making them take a lot. Purdue was good, 10 of 31.
Yep.
Iowa was good, 11 of 30. UCLA was good, 10 of 29. USC was 4 of 21. Maryland made 12 on them.
Yeah, which is the whole reason Maryland stayed in that game. And they were like a lot of throw it up at the end of the shot clock prayers.
Purdue the first time made 13 of them, but that was in overtime.
They took how many? 45?
They took 46
Yeah.
in that game. Most anyone's made on Nebraska this year is Oklahoma. Probably not surprisingly, because they scored nearly 100 points in that game, but they took 37 from behind the 3-point line and made 14 of them in that game. So there's some stats. Take them or leave them. You could say you're rooting for Troy, or you could just take the stat and enjoy them. It's totally up to you.
There wasn't a single stat that you said that would insinuate you were rooting for
I know.
Troy.
People hear what they hear, though. We'll be back. We have the headlines after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, time for the headlines. We'll have a couple of them here before we get to the 8 o'clock hour. Don't forget, Mitch Sherman set to join us at 8:30, Jacob Padilla at 9:15. Joey, what do we have today?
First headline, Cheeto Zard. Cheeto shaped like the Pokemon Charizard sells for thousands at auction.
Okay. That
Or Charizard.
A Cheeto shaped Charizard is what we're looking at here. Interesting. All right.
Second one, a red fox stows away on a cargo ship traveling from England to the U.S.
While I am mildly interested, I don't know that we'll find out much detail on the fox's journey from.
They can't interview the fox.
Yeah, right. So I don't want to know more about that. I want to know about the Cheeto Zard, and that's exactly what we are going to click on. Wow, this is another Guinness World Record thing.
It is.
Okay.
How did he get a world record for this?
There's too many world records. That's when I have an opinion
Good
on a Tuesday. I
Good
guess.
one. A diehard Pokemon fan has claimed a curious Guinness World Record title after for the highest price paid for highest price paid. He bought this for a video game likeness corn snack after spending thousands of dollars on one single Cheeto. The bright red flaming hot Cheeto with a remarkable outline of the Pokemon Charizard was sold by Golden Auctions last month to an anonymous buyer for a whopping $87,000, making it one of the most expensive foods of all time. Featuring the fiery dragon's distinct wings and tail, the 3-inch long chip was mounted on a custom Pokemon card bearing the Cheeto Zard name and was enclosed in a special translucent box just in case any viewers get a little too hungry. Quote, Golden specialized in rare one-of-a-kind collectibles, and the Cheeto Zard is exactly this. Part of what makes this item so fun and unique is that it bridges two fandoms, Pokemon and Cheetos. Would you say that you're a fan of Cheetos?
Yeah, I like Cheetos. I've
fan.
never considered it to have a fandom.
Yeah, I'm not like a Cheeto fan.
I've never walked around with a foam finger that says Cheeto.
I like Cheetos,
Yeah,
but
I
I'm
do
not
too.
like collecting Cheetos items.
No. I don't know that there's a food product of which I would be collecting items that isn't just to eat the food.
Did you see the Red Hot Cheetos, the Flamin' Hot Cheetos movie?
I didn't know there was a movie.
There's a Flamin' Hot Cheetos movie, and I keep seeing clips for it that come up on my TikTok, and
You want to watch it now?
I kind of do. Yeah. I mean, Matt would say that he spark notes if he had seen what I had seen about the Hot Cheetos movie.
Sure, yeah.
He would say that he had spark notes the Hot Cheetos movie. I believe it's called Flamin' Hot.
I got some more insight to Matt yesterday at an event I was at, and so I look forward to
Good.
either on air or off air asking him some questions later today.
Exciting.
Yeah.
We have a couple hours until that hits.
No, I know. I need to remember this, so I'm gonna have to put it in a note or something.
Put it in a note, set an alarm. By the way, Cheeto Zard first went viral back in 2024 when the store First and Gold Collectibles posted a photo of their find, which they had acquired and preserved sometime between 2018 and 2022. I mean, we're talking about nearly a decade-old Cheeto potentially now. Reportedly, the owner, Paul Bartlett, found the Cheeto on eBay and purchased it for $350. So the chip's performance at auction brought in a pretty penny. So it appears as if it was first bought for $350. Now, all the way fast forward to 2026, where it was purchased for $87,000.
You would be of age where Pokemon had exploded in popularity.
Yep.
Um,
I got into it for like a minute.
I played the Game Boy game and then never played the cards, was familiar but didn't really watch the TV show, and then was out by the time, it was red, blue, and then yellow had come along, but it was red and blue when I first was involved.
Didn't resurface when the app came out.
Well,
Pokemon.
so what I wanted
say
to
you
ask
never
is,
did
why
that.
is this popular again?
I don't know.
Is it like the card collection thing has exploded?
I think that's a big
Yeah,
part
I've
of
got a
it.
nephew
That's
that's
another
really
part.
into it. I know I have some adult friends that have refound their interest in Pokemon. Was the Rutgers anime thing tied to Pokemon?
I don't think that was
it
a Pokemon thing.
Okay,
I think
it
that
was
was just an anime thing.
other anime cards?
Yes.
I don't shocked because I think it was 1998 when I got Pokemon Blue.
Yeah.
Incredible.
I was playing
game,
Pokemon
by the way.
Stadium. Pokemon Stadium was
That
cool.
was a good game. I had that on N64.
I was playing that on N64.
They had like a thing that you could attach your Game Boy game to your N64 controller.
Yes.
So you could take your Pokemon that you had collected and then have them fight in the stadium.
That was really
which
nice.
was actually very cool.
That
at
was
the
really
time.
nice. Yeah.
I realized saying it out loud, not that cool, but at the time, I
trust me,
promise it was.
It was. Yeah, I never got super into it. I probably have a book full of cards, and that is sort of the story. All right. Those are the headlines on Flamin' Hot Cheetos. Back after this on 1620 The Zone. The Omaha Supernovas are back on Friday at 7 at CHI Health Center. We'll have your tickets at some point. Yes, even during this show. Listen for your cue to call. Not now, but you will have a chance to win Omaha Supernovas tickets. All right, I have another thing that I want to. I like to throw these things at Mike Schaefer sometimes, and because you know history pretty well, and I think we're pretty familiar with the coaches who are in this NCAA tournament. So I was looking down the list of the coaches in this particular NCAA tournament who, how many times that they have each been to the NCAA tournament. This will be Fred's, I believe this will be Fred's 7th appearance in the NCAA tournament this year.
Okay.
There are 20 other coaches in this year's NCAA tournament who have taken more teams to the NCAA tournament, more individual year-by-year teams to the NCAA tournament. Name as many as you possibly can, and there's no timer.
Okay.
Go.
Jamie Dixon.
Jamie Dixon, check. Silence. Keep going.
Oh, sorry.
Just rip them off.
I thought you were checking. That's my bad.
Yeah, Jamie Dixon. Literally check.
I thought you were
ding.
literally checking it.
Yes.
Patino.
Rick Pitino, check.
Self.
Bill Self has the most. Check.
Izzo.
Tom Izzo, yes.
This is a tough one because it could be right on that line. Cronin.
Mick Cronin, yes. In fact, quite a lot more.
Okay. Let's go to. I don't think Hurley is it. Maybe it's Hurley.
Dan Hurley, check.
Okay. Underwood.
Brad Underwood, check.
Has Randy Bennett been there?
Randy Bennett, check.
Okay. Kelvin Sampson.
Kelvin Sampson, check.
Let's see. Calipari.
John Calipari, check.
Few.
Mark Few, check.
Painter.
Matt Painter, check.
I don't know the name. Nate Oates.
Nate Oates, check.
I don't know that Rick Barnes.
Rick Barnes, check.
You
got the big ones.
Yeah, well, I got the easy ones. Like
Yep.
there's going to be some in here that I'm going to be annoyed that I missed, but I just missed.
You are missing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
That is a lot of coaches.
We got 12. That's a good start.
8 coaches.
You're missing 8 who have taken more teams to the NCAA tournament and who are coaching in this tournament.
Yeah, that's
yes.
That's kind of a big one.
Yeah.
I don't even know who Texas's basketball coach is.
Well, he's one of them.
Who is their basketball coach?
Sean Miller.
Okay, yeah. You could have given me a lot of guesses. I wouldn't have gotten to Sean Miller because he's bounced around a little bit.
A little bit. He had some stuff go on.
SMU's coach is Andy Enfield.
SMU's coach is Andy Enfield.
So that's 2. I hadn't looked at the plan around there. Will Wade?
Will Wade, no.
Okay.
Your first incorrect guess. Nice.
Well, again, I was just picking off easy ones.
There's a couple of these where you're going to be like, wow, this is great. This is hilarious. So
we might be at the point where you're just going to start reading.
All right, that's good. I think you did a really good job. So we are missing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Like 6.
Now this is a guy who always goes under the radar every single year, but they're usually in the NCAA tournament.
Hold on.
Do you know who Clemson's head coach is?
No.
Brad Brownell.
No. I skipped that one purposely.
Okay. You missed. I'm going to save that one for last. You missed TJ Otzelberger.
Oh,
that one I knew you'd feel bad about. That one I knew.
That's a bad miss.
You missed Greg Gard.
That's kind of a sad miss because he's been there long enough where they've been going long enough, and I thought he was at like 5. That's what I had in my head. How many is he at? 8.
I was going to get the number back out. I don't have it
I'll look that
quite
up.
handy at the moment, but it's in there somewhere. So we have 3 left at this point. Did you want to give this another look? We have 3 left. Once again, coaches who have taken their teams to more NCAA tournaments than Fred Hoiberg, who are coaching in this tournament. There is a mid-major conference champion.
Okay.
There is an at-large high major team, and there is a low to mid-major conference champion. 2 low to mid-major conference champions. Both you should be very familiar with.
Well, Fran
McCaffrey.
So that one I missed on the first run.
Fran McCaffrey.
And then the other one I should be familiar with that would be a mid to low major.
Yeah, Fran.
The more obvious.
Yeah, Fran was the more obvious of the two. This guy has coached in the.
Has Kevin Willard been there that many
Kevin
times?
Willard is one of them. He's the high major at large. Of course.
Right now, TJ Otzelberger is the one that I'm most annoyed at.
You are down to one name, and that name is Akron's John Gross.
Oh, yeah, I kind of forgot he was at Akron.
Yep, there you go.
He had a great run with, was it Ohio initially, and then to Illinois, and then now back to Akron?
I believe that was the path for John Gross.
He's a good coach. I know, it didn't end well at Illinois, but I genuinely think he's a good coach.
That's right. Ohio 08 to 12, Illinois 12 to 17, Akron 2017 to present. I believe he has gone now to 3 straight NCAA tournaments. Yes,
with Akron.
With Akron, yeah. And Creighton played him in the one 2 years ago. So he's gone to 3 straight and 4 out of 5.
The only coach's name that I genuinely did not know there was Clemson's coach.
Yeah.
Every other name knew.
Nobody ever knows about Brad Brownell. Nobody, and yet
I don't feel bad about not
they're
knowing.
They're always. It feels like they're like the sneakiest team to end up in the second weekend every 3 years. You're like, oh, I guess Clemson showed up there. That's kind of weird.
They're kind of in the role that NC State used to be in for me, which is they would just occasionally make a run to the Sweet 16 or the Elite 8, and they'd have Julius Hodge on their team, or forget who their coach was for the longest time.
Who? Sorry,
NC State. Wasn't TJ or wasn't?
I'm not
TJ
sure.
Lavin.
I'm not
Kevin
sure.
Keats.
Lavin?
Kevin Keats? Are you talking about him or the guy before?
I think it was the guy before Kevin Keats.
So Brad Brownell has been the coach at Clemson since 2010, which is a long time in college basketball
Very
terms.
long time.
He's 57 years old. So he's been coaching at Clemson, since he was in his mid to upper 30s, and he goes to the NCAA tournament literally all the time. Has gone 3 straight. Went to the Elite 8 a couple years ago. Went to the Sweet 16 that year. I believe it was. Was that the year it was played in Omaha? I think they were one of the teams. It was them. Syracuse, I think, was one of the two. Anyway, the orange teams get confused to me. Went to another Sweet 16. They go to the NCAA tournament all the time. Nobody ever talks about Brad Brownell.
They're probably somewhere around the 4th to 6th best ACC team every year.
Everyone is like, is Brad Brownell going to take another job this year? And the answer is always no. He never does.
Has he really been because I don't even recognize the name. I don't even know if I can think of him as being up for some of these other jobs,
Right. I don't know that his name gets mentioned a whole lot.
What was
people were like, oh, he could be
what was
one.
his path to Clemson? Do you know that?
So he was the coach at Wright State beforehand.
It's a good program.
He took them to the tournament once and
only once,
then got the job at Clemson. He took UNC Wilmington to the tournament twice.
Okay.
In
the early
2000s. He must have been 12 years old.
I bet he was the coach of UNC Wilmington when they lost to Maryland on that last second shot from Drew Nicholas, which is one of my favorite random first round tournament games ever.
Let's see. They lost to in the NCAA tournament, his 2 appearances at UNC Wilmington. This is a great deep dive. They lost to George Washington. That doesn't seem possible. Was that a play-in game? And they lost to Maryland in 2003.
2003, yeah.
2000.
Do you remember that shot at all?
Brad Brownell was the coach there.
Yeah, that's wild. I remember that game. It was one of the last games on a Friday night, and Drew Nicholas hits this shot to win it the year after Maryland had won they won the national championship the year before, and then took a big step back because they didn't have a lot of those players. UNC Wilmington had a really, really good, I want to say he was a forward. His name was Brett or something like that.
Okay, nice, good.
Brett Blizzard was his name.
Brett Blizzard is a hell of a name, Schaefer. That's a good name.
Yeah, he averaged 17 points for his career for UNC
Do
Wilmington.
not remember Brett Blizzard.
I couldn't remember the last name. I knew his first name was Brett.
You didn't remember the name.
I didn't remember.
You remembered that his first name was Brett, but not that his last name was Blizzard.
I couldn't tell you the coach. I could tell you the shot. I could have told you the year. I should have said 2003. I told you who made the shot, and I can tell you that their best player was named Brett.
Okay, that is incredible. That is amazing.
It's all meaningless, but it's all in my brain. I can remember being in my basement. I remember running outside and like trying to take the same shot on my basketball hoop at 10:45 at night, putting the lights on above the garage.
Amazing.
That's like the joy of the tournament as a kid. It's so amazing.
Absolutely.
You get these moments and you don't know who these players are, and all you want to do is just recreate it.
And guess what? We'll have a chance to do that this weekend because I heard it was going to be 1 billion degrees outside, which is absolutely fantastic. Mitch Sherman is coming up here in just a little bit. I want to get to a couple other things here before we do that. Number one, we have a question in from. We love taking questions from our listeners. We received a direct text to our phones last night from one of our great listeners and a person that we just randomly call sometimes.
My wife was so confused by this. Doesn't he have a job? Can he answer the phone when he has a job?
Maybe. I don't know how regular jobs work, so maybe people could just answer the phone.
I was like, I answer my phone all the time when I work.
Yeah, let us know. Do you have a regular job, listeners? Do you have a regular job? And like, if we were to just call you just at any point, like at 9:12 in the morning, would you be able to answer? Is that something that
that's going to be the
of?
next extension from the Friday shout outs? It's going to be the Friday call up.
Friday random
and someone
call.
gives us a phone number to call to then give a shout out on the air.
Like, hey, you're literally on.
We need to vet that
right
it's
now.
an actual phone number.
Yeah, we would take a suggestion of who to call from somebody, call them at their work desk, and they're like, "Hello." I mean, that's kind of an old FM radio bit.
I love
and
this,
I suppose we are an FM radio station.
Yeah, we could make a call to somebody in Grand Island right now at their work desk.
Anyway, we got a text from Lanny last night, and it said this: "You guys should do a PSA tomorrow on why 2 of the play-in games are for 11 seeds and why 2 are for 16 seeds. I genuinely do not know why that is, and I doubt anyone else does either." Classic Lanny. Makes no sense. Thanks, concerned citizen.
I have a guess. I think it's fairly straightforward.
I think a lot of people know why. Yeah.
The last 2 at-large, like they're not going to seed anything beyond an 11 as an at-large bid. Right. And then they put the last 4 at-larges in the 2 play-in games at the 11 spot. And they can't seed anything lower than a 16. So those are also the play-ins there. Yep. Like that's, as far as I can understand it, there's nothing else that needs to, or that would make sense beyond that.
Now, I wish that they wouldn't put, I wish that if you won your conference, even if it's the tiniest conference on planet Earth, that you wouldn't be forced into a play-in game. But there's no way to do it, I guess, in this format because we have too many conferences and too many bids for the amount of spots that we have. But I wish they would just automatically get a crack at a number 1 seed or something like that, but that's not the case. The other one, the 11s is exactly like you explained, Schaefer. I mean, you're talking about at-large teams, bubble teams who are on that last 4 in, first 4 out type of line. It basically is a play-in game for the bubble, and then you have a play-in game for the 16s, which once again, you've already won your conference. It's an opportunity. It's a play-in game for an opportunity to get your face beat in by a 1 seed. Or beat them.
You could be UMBC
or Fairleigh Dickinson.
Potentially do both.
You could. So there you go. You're welcome, Lanny. We got you covered. I think that answers your question.
This now makes me wonder.
It does make sense, by the way, to me.
It makes sense to me too.
I sort of wish that we were able to have a 64-team tournament again, just to make it a little bit cleaner. We're obviously not going back. In fact, we're going to get more, it seems like, within the next couple of years, which seems horrible. And that'll be a whole nother subset of problems to me. Honestly, that might just put me over the edge. You guys think I get quickly triggered now? Just wait till the NCAA tournament is 76 teams. I would be so angry.
What if they just switched it to the plan was for the 10 and 11 seeds, and it basically was the last 8 teams?
Right.
Would you prefer that? And then all the other automatic qualifiers are seeded out 16 through, you probably have to go to 14 in some cases.
I think that would probably be the least impactful way to do it.
Because
I don't
really
talking about
there's a
least
difference
least
between
disruptive, I guess, way to do it.
I don't think there's a difference between a 10. Honestly, I don't really find much difference between anything after a 6 seed, if that makes sense. Like
6 and 11, 6 and 11 are all the same.
Yeah, basically, I agree with that.
That's kind of always been the common refrain. Like 6 through 11 are pretty much the same with slightly different twinges to them.
And it kind of makes sense because through 5, you have your top 20 teams in the country. And then after that, the difference between 21st and 41st is not vast by any means.
Agreed.
So I think I'd almost prefer that because I think I'd be more interested in some ways in the plan. But
well, and I think you can, it's not hard to paint out a road where a team like, somebody who's going to play tonight or Texas or,
Jay Billis has like Texas in the Elite 8.
It's happened before.
Yeah.
We've gone first 4 to Final 4.
Yeah.
We've gone first 4 into the second weekend a lot. Why? Because exactly what Schaefer just said. If you win that first game, all of a sudden you have a game underneath your belt and you're going up against a 6 who is you're very familiar with. You've played 106 seeds already. If you're an SEC 11, if you're a Big Ten 11 making the NCAA tournament, you've played a million teams like you're going to see in that round of 32 game, no matter what, or that round of 64 game, no matter what. And then you can move on to a round of 32 game where you play a 3 who there is a gap between. There's a gap between 1s and 2s and 3s.
So part of what you're describing is also why there, to me, is a big gap between the 3 and the 4. In addition to you avoid the 1 seed for longer, you also get a 6 seed versus a 5. And I do think there's a difference there, even though 5s are the traditional like upset favorite in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, because 12-5 always happens because 12s are it doesn't so much have to do with 5s. It has more to do with 12s because 12s are the best they're the best mid-majors.
Yeah.
Usually.
And they're underseeded relative to maybe what they would be if they were considered.
Well, I mean, look at, people are picking McNeese over Vanderbilt.
I think McNeese is a pretty trendy one as well.
People are picking High Point over Wisconsin, which it always.
Both of those are hard though because Vanderbilt and Wisconsin are playing good basketball.
I know.
But it doesn't matter because it starts over on Thursday.
Exactly. It's so
which
hard.
is why you can blindly pick Vanderbilt to leads 2 weeks ago.
It always ends up that way in the bracket where it's like, oh, I have like 6 teams in my head and they kind of come from different categories of like teams that I'm going to, probably be more likely to push into that second weekend of the NCAA tournament. At least that's kind of how I think about it.
I cannot wait to fill out my bracket as Connor Happer.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It's going to be fun.
You're going to do that. And then what happens? They end up playing each other immediately to start.
I should have done this.
Wisconsin and High Point are definitely 2 of those teams. I think McNeese and Vanderbilt are probably 2 of those teams. And that's just kind of the way it goes. But that's the madness, folks. That is the madness. All right. By the way, we got a text from the 402. Call me anytime. Literally anytime.
Literally anytime.
What a great idea. What a great idea. All right, we'll take a break. Mitch Sherman is going to join us on the other side. We have plenty to catch up with from Mitch when we return on 1620 The Zone. But first, a word from our friends at Underdog Fantasy, where the tournament is back. The upsets are inevitable, and Underdog is the best place to get in on all the action. You can make picks and win money right now in Nebraska. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like points, rebounds, steals, and more. Get those picks right. You could win up to 5,000 times your cash. Imagine all the opportunity that is out there for you right now. You're looking at your sheet of paper. You've written down all the stats that you need. You've thought about it. You've read all the stories. You've seen all the tweets. Ladies and gentlemen, now it's time to put your money where your mouth is. So download the app today. Use promo code HAPPER1620 to score $50 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code HAPPER1620. Underdog, make picks, win money. Must be 19 plus at present. Nebraska terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-MY-RESET or visit www.ncpgambling.org. All right, welcome back. The Omaha Food Fight is presented by Union Bank and Trust, and it is underway right now. First round of voting ends on after Wednesday, so through tomorrow, and then we'll move on to the second round with 32, and we'll go beyond and beyond and beyond. Vote on the Omaha Food Fight presented by Union Bank and Trust right now, 1620thezone.com. Vote for your faves. I know you have many of them. We're joined now on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone Hotline by our good friend Mitch Sherman from The Athletic. Mitch, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm well. Thanks for bringing that to my attention, by the way. I'm going to need to go check out the food fight.
Oh, everybody's bracketing these days. We had to scrub it.
That's true.
We had to move people up seed lines dependent on locations and, conferences and things like that. It took a lot of work.
What if everybody made brackets in like August or September instead of now? Do you think they would stand out more because, like you said, everyone is making a bracket about everything that you can possibly make a bracket about?
I think
in March,
there's probably a different version of this like every 4 months of the year. Like August, I think we're into Mount Rushmore time. People are doing Mount Rushmore.
I think of that as July is a very Mount Rushmore month.
Interesting. Yeah.
Right.
There's only so many
there's
ways we can
nothing
list
happening.
things,
Yeah.
though.
To Mitch's idea, though, I have had this thought where I should take the random brackets that we see, and then we put those in a bracket and have people vote on the bracket in August for what bracket they would most want to fill out at this point in time. Just go bracket on bracket on bracket.
Yeah. You could just bracket brackets. There you go.
I've done that before. I kind of did that with the numbers bracket.
Yeah.
We're voting on numbers, which never did reach its conclusion.
That's sad.
We
Just stuck in the literal Final Four.
We were at the end there. All right. This is part of how we basically bide our time to get ready for Nebraska basketball's opening game at the tournament. Have you convinced yourself of anything? Has anything changed since you've initially saw the matchup on Sunday? Like, have you convinced yourself of anything on either side, whether it be for Nebraska or Troy at this point?
I don't know. I think listening to a lot of the analysis, I've convinced myself that Troy is more dangerous than my initial read on it. My initial read on it was, hey, Nebraska did itself pretty well. Like, even as a 4 seed, I like the look of this matchup more than I think, or as much as I think I would have if Nebraska had been a 3. And then I've heard the whoa, not so fast. Troy does this well. They do this well. This is why it's a bad matchup. It's not as it might have first appeared. I'm questioning my initial thought on it, but every team's good. I think we know that. So there isn't going to be any matchup that you look at when the bracket comes out and you say, well, that's a cakewalk. I mean, unless you're Duke and you have immense talent, or Arizona, or several other teams that Nebraska is not in the company of. So, yeah, I probably, if anything, I've convinced myself since Sunday night that this game is going to be at some point in doubt in the second half. And you can just take that to the bank. Like, this is not going to be a cakewalk by any means. And like, for anyone to expect that with Nebraska, a team that hasn't just lost every time it's been in the tournament, but there's only one game that's been relatively close of all of the tournament appearances that Nebraska's had. I believe it was like the second one way back in the 90s. In 92, there was a 5-point game. Most of the others are like double-digit losses.
Was that Western Kentucky?
Western Kentucky was the first one, wasn't it? In the Mo Iba era. I'm talking about the second Dan.
Oh, okay.
It might have been. It wasn't Xavier, because that was the 3-seeded Nebraska team.
Penn, UConn, I think, was in there.
Penn, I think, was a 5-point game. Yeah. There's an example right there of the kind of game, like, just looking at it on paper. I mean, they're very, very vague, but like, you have a major conference team and then a mid-major to low-major type team. The Sun Belt classifies as that. So it's a one-bid league, right? So
I don't know. I think it's good. I've learned not to be too confident here in Nebraska, and that it's going to be a close game at some point. Like that is uncomfortable for the 10,000 plus in red in Oklahoma City.
That's a good point. They never really had the lead coming down a stretch in the NCAA.
They led against Arkansas at halftime. Is the last.
Yeah.
They never led against
Lost
Baylor.
by
Never.
9.
They led against Texas A&M early.
So they Mitch, by the way, they lost by 5 to
Very
Xavier as a 3 seed in 91. They lost by 10 to Penn in 94.
So it was Xavier.
The Xavier game.
Yeah, Xavier's the only one that's been within striking distance in the final minutes, which is amazing because so many NCAA tournament games are close, and Nebraska, for all that it's done, has only been really involved in one of those.
Oh, well, if they, as you look through Troy and you've assessed through things, or you've read the coverage, or whatever you've done as you've kind of prepared for Nebraska's game here, is there a player on Nebraska that stands out to you as someone that you think, as you look through this, you either think they're well positioned to play well against Troy, or that they're critical in that they have to play well against Troy if Nebraska is going to get their first win in 2026?
You can probably look at this two ways, and the two players that I just continue to come back to. And one thing that I like about Nebraska is that I think as long as you get a combination of two who are playing really well, and there have been games where it was Stanford and Frager, there have been games more early in the season where it was Jamarcus Lawrence involved in one of that two-man combination. If you get two who are playing well for this team, then Nebraska's in good shape against most opponents, and I put Troy in that category. But having said that, the guys I come back to, especially in a moment like this where there's so much at stake, and it's the place that you've been pointing to as a program for years and years, decades, you might say, it's Rink and Sam Hoiberg. So I think that if those two play well, either one of them, both of them, one of them, and then somebody else, like if Price gets his shot going and one of those two is doing fantastic work, then I like Nebraska's chances. But I think it'd be hard if both of them are off, and I don't expect that to happen. They're the leaders of the team, and I think they're going to find a way to play well. But I mean, specific to the matchups of this game, yeah, I think it's really important because Troy has some players who are going to match up more physically. That Sam is going to match up physically probably pretty well against, like stack up. Like he's going to be a similar type of player to the guards that Troy has, and I think Rink he's going to have a size advantage against the Troy players in the post. It doesn't mean he's going to dominate them physically, but he's going to have an advantage in height and in his size in some ways that is very rare in Big Ten games.
What does the crowd piece of this, the fact that there's going to be X amount of Nebraska fans making their way down there, the building will be, completely painted red, it would be my guess, especially during Nebraska's game. What kind of impact could that have on the game itself? And then obviously the environment around the arena is going to be something to behold. I think it'll be really, really cool, given the weather and all the stuff. But the actual game, could you paint a picture where it works out, positively for Nebraska? They help them get off their, off with their backs up against the wall, whatever it might be during the game. And then, if they get off to a slow start, it could potentially start seeping the other way too.
The murmurs.
Yeah, it absolutely could, and it's just like playing at home. I mean, if you're playing at home and you're playing poorly, you can start to feed off of the nervousness of the crowd, and that doesn't necessarily exist on the road. On the road, it's going to be the opposite, or at a truly neutral site, like the crowd is probably not going to be a factor. But yeah, it's a double-edged sword. Like Nebraska can benefit from the crowd and likely will at some point benefit from the crowd. I'm sure at the beginning that's gonna help Nebraska no matter what. But yeah, it can work the other way. It's by and large a huge positive. I mean, there's a reason that teams play best when they're at home. Nebraska's experienced that neutral environment with a home court advantage when it played Oklahoma this year. And that was a game where the crowd, I wasn't there, but it was a game where the crowd absolutely helped bring Nebraska back from a deficit that might not have happened if that game was, say, in Norman, Oklahoma. So that kind of dynamic could absolutely come into play. Now you hope Nebraska doesn't get down double digits against Troy and need the crowd in that way. And I thought it was important what Hoiberg said on Monday, that the crowd is great for Nebraska, but the team has to bring the crowd into the game instead of relying on the crowd the other way around to lift the team.
The next time we talk to you, Nebraska could either be on its way to a Sweet 16. They could have made history and then bow out to Vanderbilt or whomever, McNeese in the second round, or we could be talking about the streak that'll never end. Do you think Nebraska is positioned to be back in this spot 1 year from now?
Well,
maybe not as a 4, but back in the tournament in general.
Right. Yeah, I think so. I do think so. Because I think they've built a foundation. I don't think that this was like a one-off, what happened this year. It's been building. And I get that the players I mentioned, Sam Hoiberg, Rink Bass, like tough to replace for sure. But I think that Nebraska has some players even within the program who can step into those roles in some way. And I like what they've signed. I like the freshmen they're bringing in. And I think that this season and even this week, depending on how it goes, can be a big factor in appealing to players who played for different schools this year. Like, what is Nebraska going to do in the portal in 2020, in the spring and summer of 2026? You look a year ago, we could never have imagined that Price Sanford coming through the portal was going to have the impact that he did and be a first team All Big Ten player. Well, who's the Price Sanford of this next cycle? And if Nebraska finds that player, or finds a couple of guys, not 2 first team All Big Ten players, but a couple of players who have major impacts and they avoid injuries, and you look at the pieces that Nebraska does have coming back, in addition to the 2 who were injured and out this season, and you factor in the development of some of like a Leo Curtis. Yeah, Nebraska could definitely be an NCAA tournament team this next year. It's not hard to imagine at all.
No, I don't think so either. It's what they're putting together is pretty repeatable here. All right, Mitch,
I have one really quick quick question. Mitch, do you have a favorite NCAA tournament buzzer beater of all time?
Bryce Drew, maybe.
Yeah, the Valparaiso one. That makes sense.
That one just jumped into my head. I remember, was it Tyus Edney from UCLA?
Yep.
Who dribbled the entire length of the court in like 1 second. I remember being a kid
Missouri, right?
That. I think, yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, I want to say that was 94 against Missouri.
That's pretty young. Yeah. That one, if you remember it like vividly 30 plus years later, then that's a favorite for sure.
All right, Mitch, we'll let you go. Appreciate it as always. Have a good rest of your week.
Thanks. Appreciate it, guys.
Mitch Sherman from The Athletic. The version of that for my generation is definitely Farouk Manesh, even though it wasn't a buzzer beater and it wasn't even a shot to take the lead at all. It was just
the stones on that shot. I mean,
that's the most famous NCAA tournament shot of my, not necessarily of my life, but of my generation, I think.
Yeah, sure. It's tough.
With the exception of Chris Jenkins.
I was going to say Chris Jenkins coming probably 5 years after that. No, 7 years after that. It was 2017. Yeah. 2010 for Farouk Manesh, 2017 for Jenkins.
Yeah.
Do you know the one that he's talking about, the UCLA Missouri, is 95? I remember this one. But I don't remember watching it as it happened. I remember seeing it in like a Sports Illustrated year in review video or something.
Okay.
That I definitely watched as a kid.
Nice.
It's a great shot. We'll watch it during the break. You'll enjoy it.
There's some, I mean, there's a bracket of them, I'm sure, that you could vote on right now.
Undoubtedly. There probably is a YouTube channel that's essentially just like buzzer beaters, and that's all it is.
I saw one video going around yesterday of Gus Johnson's NCAA tournament calls.
There's a lot of them.
He was on there for a long
had
time.
like a stretch where it felt like if he was calling your game, it was coming down to close and late.
And now he's that. And he doesn't even, for some reason, still does the Big East semifinal and final and doesn't know what's going on. It's very, very sad.
I mean, it's just kind of Gus Johnson, right?
Yeah. But it used to be different
No, there was a time where
there was a time.
There was an apex, and then it just felt like it got to be too much, and you got more just nonsensical noises than you did actual like.
Yeah, I just don't think he really. I don't think he really cares about college basketball anymore.
Well, yeah, he became a character.
At the same time, I listened to him do college football games, and I don't think he really cares about college football
No,
either.
he became like you probably don't want your play-by-play guy to become a character.
No, you
Like,
probably
that's usually not what you want.
He also can't see, which is what Michael always says when we talk about Gus. He doesn't have the best vision. So that
2020
that hurts probably. All right, we'll take a break. We'll round out the hour after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, welcome back. Connor Happer, Mike Schaefer, Joey Colbert with you this morning on Happer and Schaefer, 1620 The Zone, and on 1620thezone.com. Just a heads up. Once again, stay tuned. Maybe soon you'll have a chance to win some Omaha Supernovas tickets coming up during the show. Jacob Badil will join us at 9:15 to talk about Creighton's path to the Crown Championship and high school basketball, of course, with Jacob. First, a couple of other college basketball stories. Let's head south, where, as we like to talk about all the time, Schaefer, what are they good at in the South? Not sports, but courts. Well, there might be some more courts in the future.
Different kind of court.
Different kind of courts. This is criminal court with Alabama's Aiden Holloway, who was arrested and has been removed from campus, which means he will not be playing for Alabama in the NCAA tournament this week. Why? He has been charged with, or he will be charged with, first-degree possession of marijuana, not for personal use. Wonder what use it's for, which is a Class C felony, and a failure to affix a tax stamp, also a felony. His bond was set at $5,000. He was released from jail pretty shortly after. He had a Tuscaloosa County Police spokesperson Stephanie Taylor said Holloway was arrested Monday morning after agents with the West Alabama Narcotics Task Force searched a residence near Alabama's campus and, quote, recovered more than a pound of marijuana, paraphernalia, and cash. This changes the NCAA tournament at least a little bit. Alabama, of course, playing Hofstra in the first round. So if you were already touring around with picking Hofstra,
and
I was not, for the record, then you are probably over the edge in that regard now.
Probably. It's a interesting part of the bracket for me because I also liked Akron over Texas Tech, who hasn't been playing. They're like kind of up and down.
So like you're feeling it out and you're like, I can't do Akron and
I don't love having a
Hofstra.
12 and a 13 seeing each other.
I don't know how many times it's happened.
I know it has, but it's not often.
Not very often.
It's certainly not often. So then I'd have to reassess that. Yeah. And then, you have Michigan, which I feel comfortable just sort of putting in.
On the other side for Alabama, without Holloway now, who's really outside of who's the guy that I'm looking for?
At Alabama?
Yeah, their main guy, Philon, LeBaron Philon. So outside of him, he's kind of like their guy. I mean, he's like their second guy on this team. So on the flip side, if you're taking Alabama to make a deep run, which I think there were some people that were, this could affect your thinking. Alabama, obviously, a very, very, very strong offensive team, with a chance to really, really put up some points on you. So that is one thing going on. The other thing is Bruce Pearl, who has now deleted his tweet, by the way. Finally, he got around to it. Did you see what Bruce Pearl was up to yesterday?
I did not. For once, I was not monitored. With the draw out, I hadn't considered his Twitter feed the last 48 hours.
Bruce Pearl, he fell victim to something that many people have fallen victim to.
Tip times?
No, it wasn't a tip time. It was a fake burner
Oh.
account that was tweeting about, it was a real burner account, a fake, like, breaking news account, who claimed that Travis Steele the head coach of Miami, Ohio, was taking the Butler job. And then he quote tweeted it and said this: great hire. Known Travis since his AAU days in Indy. Butler was our biggest rival when I was at Wisconsin, Milwaukee. Mad respect for the school, their basketball tradition, and the kids that go to school there. I'm a very proud, evil stepmother. And then he learned that the tweet was Travis Steele's
it would seem like a very nice tweet. It did remind me about his time at,
he actually did that tweet. He quoted the tweet that said Travis Steele was going to Butler. Yeah.
No, it seemed like it came from the heart about his time at Wisconsin, Milwaukee.
Yeah, it was.
And they played in the Horizon with Butler, who would have been there at that time too.
Indeed. So Bruce Pearl has not had the best last few days.
Twitter, it can be a difficult place.
It can be. It can be. He's not had the best last few days. I don't understand why CBS just they put him on the selection show immediately. It's like one of their biggest properties. I don't really get it. I don't get why he's out there so much.
They think he's a personality that people are interested in. That's 100% what it is.
He's most certainly a personality.
Right.
I don't I don't really understand.
He's going to drive conversation one way or another. That's 100% why he's on there. It's not because he's going to give you like incredible analysis. It's not he's polished enough to be able to do the television thing. But it's because he's going to say things that are going to spark interest. It's the same reason, and people get really mad about this, and I'm curious what your thoughts are. Like Charles Barkley would be doing college basketball coverage, and people would get really upset about it because he clearly knows nothing about what's happening in the sport.
See,
it's because he just is a talker and he generates interest.
Yeah, but
CBS wants to put him front and center.
Yeah, but Chuck is likable.
Oh, Chuck is super likable.
Yeah.
He might be one of my favorite people in sports.
Chuck owns the fact that he doesn't care about college basketball.
That's what makes it great.
Bruce Pearl is
right,
not likable.
But it's the concept and the idea is the same as we're going to try to get, engagement isn't the word that you want out of this.
Oh, I get it.
Interest. We're going to generate interest from this person.
I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this. I'm watching the selection show no matter what, and I'm watching all the CBS stuff during the March Madness no matter what. It ain't because of Bruce Pearl.
Right.
If you could put a scarecrow on there and I'm still going to watch it.
But there's an element of people that are like, "Oh, I wonder what Bruce is going to say about this." And that's what they're interested in.
There is no element of that to me.
Right. Because
None.
you cared about college basketball before.
That's
Bruce Pearl
right.
was
I'm not a Bruce Pearl casual of college basketball.
Are you a Bruce Pearl anything?
No, not at all. Not at all. All right. If you want some Omaha Supernovas tickets for Saturday, give us a call right now. 402-951-1620. 402-951-1620. Your caller number 3 is going to get 2 tickets to Novas and Grand Rapids Friday at 7 at CHI. Once again, 402-951-1620. Caller number 3 right now. We'll be back after this on 1620 The Zone. Jacob Adilla from Herd at Sports is going to join us here in about 15, 20 minutes. Talk about Creighton with him and high school basketball from last weekend, which I'm sure he was just chilling.
Yeah, we really haven't discussed this, but Lincoln Southwest wins the Class A title. And I'm looking forward to getting Jacob's thoughts because I had friends that were there that the Southwest Westside game, I guess, was just tremendous.
Okay.
So I'm curious what he thought of the whole weekend.
I saw a couple pieces of the final with Southwest and Papio South. I had no takes.
Yeah.
That's my take. I had no takes.
We will get his takes
I'm
because
sure,
I bet he has takes.
I'm sure Jacob definitely has takes. So one of Schaefer's ideas over the last couple days, as we've got a bracket now, is I think Schaefer feels like he has a pretty good sense of how I'm thinking.
Oh, I don't know if it's pretty good or not, but
Okay.
I have guesses that I would make based on how you've talked over the last
All right.
handful of months.
So
We're
what?
now multiple months in.
So
This is
what
fun.
Schaefer did was he decided to fill out a bracket as if he were me. He filled out. He jumped into my brain and basically predicted what I would predict as far as an NCAA tournament bracket. Does that make sense to everybody? Is that clear, Joey? Do we know what we're doing?
Yeah, it's
All
pretty
right.
clear.
Schaefer is making a bracket as if he were me. So why don't we go through a couple of the things?
Yeah,
just
I
to
was
see
thinking
if
you
were
should just
actually
pick
right.
teams at random, and I would tell you where I thought
Okay.
that you would put them.
So by the way, I did this because I had to enter into one yesterday. I don't even think I entered into anything at all last year. I may not have even filled one out last year. I just like watching the games. I graduated from the bracket thing and
we've talked about this.
Really liked watching.
I famously got the first 23 or 24 games right in last year's tournament.
That
Joey is chasing against himself
before it completely fell apart like the Packers' playoff hopes.
If you predicted what Joey would pick, then maybe you would be a millionaire.
Could be.
Or something like that.
Not generally, but go on.
So here are some, the narrative teams that we have been talking about throughout the last couple months here are they're definitely out there. One of them is Illinois. How far do you think I had Illinois going in my bracket that I definitely thought about for a long, long time before I picked all these games?
I had you having Illinois lose in the round of 32 to VCU.
Correct. Nailed it.
Yeah.
Exactly perfect.
So
that's exactly what I had happen.
So that includes VCU beating North Carolina.
That's right.
Yep. So I'm, I guess, 2 for 2.
You nailed it.
The smile on your face tells me that you're already enjoying this.
This is a great segment already. Nebraska. What do you think I had going on with Nebraska?
I have you down for Nebraska making school history with their first tournament win against Troy.
Correct.
And then losing to Vanderbilt in the second round.
Also correct.
All right. Next one.
Let's do UConn.
Okay.
Let's do UConn.
This is a fun one.
UConn. How far do I have UConn going?
I have you beating, I have UConn beating Furman.
Yes.
UConn beating UCLA.
Yes.
UConn beating Michigan State.
No, but they do win that game.
What's that?
They do win that game.
Okay.
But it's not Michigan State that they're playing.
You have them playing South Florida?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I had South Florida over Louisville. That was the easiest pick of the entire field.
That's right. That was.
I mean, there was not the 116s were more time spent on those.
You're talking about both in my predicted bracket and in your bracket.
Oh yeah, I'm taking South Florida.
Absolutely. I think
I want to take South Florida over Michigan State, but I am not doing it.
I don't think that I've ever seen I don't know what the actual numbers are going to be for this. It just depends on where you look. But I haven't seen hardly anyone pick Louisville.
Yeah.
It's a 6-11 game.
Well, South Florida's good.
South Florida's good.
And they're on a heater right now, too. So if you're talking about a team that's playing well lately, like they're one of them. So I had Michigan State over South Florida. That was my guess for you, but I did consider it. So you have UConn beating South Florida.
Yeah.
I have UConn beating Duke in the Connor Happer bracket.
That is what I picked. I don't like it, though. I don't want to do that. I don't know why I did it, but looking back on it, apparently I did have UConn
So
going
you have
to
UConn in the Final Four.
Yes. I don't like it though.
I am going one step further.
Sure.
UConn is beating Houston.
Wrong. Houston
in
beats
the
UConn.
Okay, so I have your Final Four on one side of the draw.
Correct.
Yeah.
You have it.
Mike
Two
Schaefer,
seeds.
Connor Happer is having a lot of success right now.
You really are. So, by the way, and then there's the stat going around about how 2 seeds don't win the national championship, which is true. But 2 seeds can go to the Final Four. And on the left side of my bracket, I have 2 of them, 2 seeds in the Final Four, UConn and Houston. Although I absolutely hate having UConn in the Final Four. I think that's just an absence of wanting to be super duper chalky.
Yeah.
Because the other option was Duke,
it.
which is fine.
I get it. So all right. So that I didn't have I had UConn in the championship, not Houston. So that one's wrong.
I think you will be able to guess my other 2 Final Four teams also.
Yeah. Do you want me to just say what I have for you?
Sure.
I have you with Iowa State winning the national championship over Houston.
Wrong.
Oh,
Wrong.
Is it Arizona?
I have Arizona win the national championship.
Okay, so you have
over
Iowa
Houston.
State in the Final Four?
I have Iowa State in the Final Four.
So I had all 4 Final Four teams, but the wrong participant in the championship.
That's pretty good.
I feel very good about it.
You should feel good about it.
Would you like any things on the right side of the bracket that I predicted as you?
Yes, there's a couple narrative teams in here that we need to be.
Okay, here's
about.
the single highest upset that I have for you.
In the entire tournament?
In the tournament, I have High Point over Wisconsin.
Tied for the highest upset. Oh, actually, no, because nope.
You took Wisconsin?
No, I did take High Point, by the way.
You took a 13?
I took a 14.
Oh.
Yeah. Would you like to pick a 14 that beats a 3 in the first round? I have quite the fun round of 32 matchup in a certain bracket.
You took Kennesaw State?
Nope.
So you would have taken Wright State?
Nope.
Penn.
Nope. The other one. One more.
So you took North Dakota State.
North Dakota State.
Oh yeah. You mentioned.
And that's how South Florida. Okay. All right.
Oh no, disaster. Yes.
All right.
So North Dakota State over Michigan State, South Florida over Louisville creates a round of 32 matchup with South Florida and North Dakota State.
I just assumed that you put Michigan State. Yeah, that's great. All right. I feel bad. I could have gotten there. I know how you feel about Michigan State in general.
Yeah.
Though I know that you were higher on them than other teams in the Big Ten, so I thought maybe they would at least get one round.
I needed to do one crazy one, and that one was for me.
Fair.
Yeah, I did pick High Point, so you nailed that one.
I have Arizona, Arkansas in the Sweet 16 over there at the.
Yep, that one's pretty chalky though.
Yeah. So on the bottom, it gets a little wonky because I have, as Connor Happer, I have Miami beating Purdue.
No, I have Purdue going to the
Elite Eight.
I have Purdue going to the Sweet 16.
Okay. Losing to
Gonzaga.
Okay. All right. I have Gonzaga there. I have Gonzaga playing Arizona.
Gonzaga, Arizona Elite Eight is correct.
Do I have all the Elite?
You might have
correct?
the entire Elite Eight as me as
Duke,
well.
UConn.
Duke, UConn, got it.
Florida, Houston.
Florida, Houston, got it.
And then
Arizona, Gonzaga, and then the other ones,
Michigan and Iowa State.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay. All right.
I mean, we'll say this is a boring bracket. This is
3 2s.
I don't care. I didn't really think about how I did it. Where you get yourself into trouble is like
thinking.
Is exactly. And especially like, oh, I don't like that they played them there. I have to move that back and change my entire thing. No, I'm not doing that. I just went with it one time over. I did no takesies, backsies. And I don't like that I have UConn in the Final Four, but there they are.
There they are. I am very happy with how well this went.
I went in with one principle. Arizona's going to win the national championship.
Okay. All right. I thought Iowa State was your team.
I love Iowa State.
Yeah, and I actually thought you would have been emboldened by the fact that they lost to Arizona on a last-second circus jumper.
Oh,
I figured you'd be like, all right, this tells me that Iowa State is equipped to play deep into the tournament.
Just because I will, potentially profit lots of dollars off of Iowa State, winning a national championship, doesn't mean I have to pick them in my bracket.
No.
I have chosen the best team in the country. And that is Arizona. Yeah.
For the longest stretch of the season, they were the best team in the country. And then it was kind of Michigan and then it was Duke, and now it's still Duke. But there's a lot of questions about Duke.
That most of it is just health, right?
It's health, and then it's also like, hey, they don't shoot particularly well against better teams.
Yeah.
And they find stupid ways to lose in the tournament.
They've
always done that.
Thing about Arizona is that scares you maybe a little bit in a tournament setting is they have a little bit of that to them as well. But my God, they're giant, and then they're scoring every time that thing goes into the paint. They're getting to the free throw line. And that's why Gonzaga is really interesting to me, because they're kind of like that too. And I don't know. They have a little bit of shooting on the outside. They have some good ball handling. There's some really fascinating stylistic matchups too when you look at these teams.
Like if you get a Wisconsin against Arizona, I think that could be a really fun Sweet 16 game.
Yeah. Our round of 32, I mean, I feel like we've said this now for the last couple of years. The round of 32 is going to be sweet. The round of 32 is going to be pretty awesome.
And that's even like, you don't have to get chalk results for that to be true either. Like there's some really fun matchups if you get a South Florida, even against a Michigan State. Like I think that could be a really good game.
Now, judging off of just my, reading the room, I suppose, what do you think the most popular upset picks are right now? Like generally popular upset picks.
Okay.
The South Florida Louisville one is very common that I've seen.
Akron, Texas Tech.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. I've seen a lot of VCU, North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen
6-11.
I've seen a lot of who was the other? I mean, Troy, Nebraska has been a relatively common one.
I think McNeese Vanderbilt has probably the potential upset.
Hofstra.
McNeese could potentially get to the Sweet 16.
By the way, the other thing
generally good.
The other thing about this is, sorry, tell me who your most famous upset picks are, if you have any more answers.
I don't think I have any more. I think we've said most of them. I mean, my thing is I don't see a lot of 14s that I like. The Penn one sort of stands out, but it's because I just really enjoyed watching them the one time they played. I don't know that I have a whole lot more to offer.
Yeah.
Kennesaw State, I don't think can beat Gonzaga. I don't think North Dakota State can beat Michigan State. I could be wrong on that. And then, Virginia, I think is better than they have been.
So the other thing to watch is like, do you get the ability to redo things after tonight and tomorrow? I could very easily see one of those first 4 11 seeds making it through, not only to the round of 64, but beyond to the round of 32.
Which of those 4 teams do you think has the most potential to make a run?
Unfortunately, it's Texas.
See, I just don't know. Like, I think they're really good at home, and they're very, very average away from home, and they will not be playing at home.
They don't get to play at home.
So,
that is
true.
they're
very different teams when they're at home versus not at home.
I also think the matchup is part of that too. BYU at times looks really, really vulnerable, and at times looks like a Death Star.
Right.
So I don't really know what to do with that.
Right. I think that's a fair one.
Tennessee, I wouldn't. I think there have been a little bit more.
Tennessee, I think is just the Big 12's BYU or the SEC's BYU.
SEC.
Like I think both of those. Like honestly, maybe the most perfect seeding of any 4 teams beyond like 1 would be 6, because all of those feel like they are 6 seeds to me, because none of them are to be trusted.
Yep.
You could make an argument that any of them, with maybe the exception of Louisville, could go on a multi-win run, and it wouldn't be that shocking to me. But I've watched all 4 of those teams play, and none of them, I wouldn't have considered any of them for a 5. Like, does that make sense?
It does.
Like, because I told you
Pretty
there's
much
to
a
me like a
definition of a
mental
6.
gap there, and they just all feel perfect at 6. Tennessee has lost so many games that they're up with 3 minutes to go in the second half, and they couldn't put away Kentucky. They couldn't put away Vanderbilt. They couldn't put away Florida. They're just that sort of team to me, that it wouldn't be surprising if they couldn't put away SMU or Miami of Ohio.
Peter writes in on the Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed. He says, South Florida over Louisville. We learned last year that Pat Kelsey isn't big into scouting when he didn't know who Jemiah Neal was and thought repeatedly going at Ryan Kalkbrenner was a good idea. Peter, handshake meme. I've been saying it for almost exactly 1 year now. They say I've been saying it for years, but I've been saying it for one exact year.
No show has talked more about Miami of Ohio outside of Ohio than us, and no show has talked more poorly about Pat Kelsey.
We are out on Pat Kelsey.
Yeah, for 2 months.
We are out on Pat Kelsey on this.
And I'm just doing it by extension because I've just enjoyed you going so hard.
So that game
one
was crazy
particular coach.
because that was a 9-8 game, and I remember when the bracket came out, I felt like Louisville got jobbed a little bit, or that was the common, the common perception was that they were going to be like a 6 or a 5, and they ended up being an 8. And I think there was a similar conversation with Creighton as far as, maybe there was some hope. I can't remember exactly that they were going to be like a 10 or something like that, so they could sneak into that 10-7 territory. And then they ended up getting what was at the time the quote unquote toughest 8 or not. I can't remember what it was. 8-9, 9-8. I can't remember who was who last year in that game. And it was very clear they didn't have any idea what to do with Goldbrenner. It was very weird. Very, very weird.
Not everybody has a Braxton Meehan and Andrew Morgan that they can just throw at them to shut them down.
It's amazing. All you had to do was watch any Nebraska tape for the 2 years.
Nate Lenzer had an idea.
Yeah, at least he did his scouting report.
I think he's done a lot of scouting.
Mr. Pat Kelsey, all he could do is wear glasses and have weird tattoos.
You want to talk about postseason Nebraska questions? A big one is, will they have that staff back that Fred has kind of put together and he's really organized and optimized to perfection?
Yeah, I wonder if Lenzer, like what the next step is for him. He feels like a really good, top assistant defensive coordinator type. I don't know. I don't know what his trajectory looks like.
Like if he wants to be a head coach, I would guess he probably does, but then what level do you want to be a head coach at and all of that too.
And then as far as like I don't know what Howard I'm not sure exactly what he his area of expertise is as far as the staff is concerned. The only person anybody ever talks about is Lenzer.
Right. I'm trying to, it's not even Adam Howard anymore. It's
oh yeah, he's not even on the staff.
Yeah,
perfect.
When you said that, I was like, I know that's not right, but I can't think of who they replaced him with because I am just drawing a blank.
Nailed it.
Yeah, you did nail it.
I know they have Ziegler as well.
He's their big man coach.
Yep.
And Pat Monahan.
Pat.
I just have to remember
so
Train.
Pat and
I just have to remember Train, the lead singer of Train.
Do Pat and Adam look the same?
I think they're both white, if that helps.
Exactly what I was thinking. Exactly what I was thinking. All right, we'll be back with Jacob Padilla after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, we'll see if we can get a hold of Jacob Padilla from Herd Sports. Was looking forward to his crown bracket breakdown. Mike Schaefer has just informed me of the bracket for the first time. Could you please repeat what you just told me? I knew that Creighton was playing Rutgers, and that's it.
Yeah.
I saw the matchup, and I couldn't wait to talk about it, and so I didn't even look at the rest of the bracket.
So there's less teams this year than last year. So there's only 8 teams, but Rutgers and Creighton is the last game of the quarterfinals. That'll be on Thursday, April 2nd. Before that, you'll get Oklahoma, Colorado on April 1st and Baylor, Minnesota on April 1st.
Whoa, Big 12 championship game circa 2000 and it happened once, right?
I don't know,
It happened
when Colorado was making the Big 12 championship games, I felt like they were always taking on Texas. I mean, we're talking football, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I feel like they were taking on
No, it
Texas.
never did happen.
Yeah.
It never did happen. Colorado only represented the Big 12 North one time, and that was, of course, in the year of Satan.
2001. Yeah. Well, I mean, they beat
played
Texas that year, right?
Oh, no. Colorado. Oh, that's not true.
They lost to Texas another time.
Colorado lost to Oklahoma.
Oh, okay.
Colorado lost to Oklahoma in 04.
Okay. That was, I didn't have that in my brain.
And Colorado lost to Texas too. Oh, my God. Colorado
got murdered by Texas.
Colorado beat Texas in 01.
Yep.
And that got absolutely wrecked by Texas in 05.
Yeah, that was a Vince Young Texas team.
And it lost to Oklahoma 42-3 in 04.
Yep.
So there you go. Big 12 championship game circa 2004.
Did they replace Barnett with Hawkins after that 70-3?
Yeah, that's a great question.
These are the things people want to know.
Yeah, this is what I want to talk about.
25 a.m. on, March 17th, 2026.
Do we have any famous Baylor, Minnesota games? Baylor, Minnesota. I can't recall any Baylor, Minnesota games.
No, I got nothing.
Of all time.
I got nothing.
I definitely can't recall any Stanford, West Virginia games.
I'm sure they played nope. Nope. I got nothing.
And then
I got nothing.
I can't recall one Rutgers Creighton game. Coincidentally, the one time that these two teams have played, it was in Vegas in the same arena where they're going to play this college basketball crown nonsense.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong here, but Creighton had a big man who originally played at Rutgers, Gregory and
Echenike.
Yeah. And then he ended up at Creighton, right?
He sure did.
He was
with
one
his
of the
pink
old school
shoes,
transfers.
our big, beautiful man, Gregory. Yeah. He was a sit out at semester guy, I believe. He got activated in January of the Doug's freshman year,
I was gonna say
something like that.
It crosses over with McDermott.
I can't remember exactly what it was, but yeah, there was definitely.
I remember him
during that period of time.
One of these days, it'll probably be off air. I'm just gonna name every Creighton player I can name from basketball, like every single one of them.
That sounds fun.
And we'll see how many I can actually name. There's way more than I realize, but I have to mentally get in that space where you start rattling them off.
Oh, you could do a lot.
And then you have to start working through
this is a great activity for your car trip down to the Nebraska ball NCAA
these
tournament
are Creighton
game.
Season ticket holders, or they grew up as Creighton season.
So, but you just lock in, you just zone in. You say, "I'm done. Don't talk to me for 30 minutes." Put a timer on for 30 minutes. And write down as many Creighton basketball players as you can.
I'll be driving. I can't write.
Well, take a shift or something like that. Take a shift off just to write down Creighton basketball players. That sounds
one
fun.
that I'm not entirely sure is a Creighton basketball player, but it sounds like a Creighton basketball player.
All right,
I'm pretty sure he had a game-winning shot against Nebraska in 2002.
Are you talking about
Ben Grimes? Is that a Creighton basketball player?
Mike Grimes.
It's Mike Grimes. Is there a Ben something?
Yes, there have been many Bens.
I thought it was Ben Grimes. I don't know. I had Grimes in my head.
Mike Grimes.
Okay.
Okay.
Did he have a game-winning shot against Nebraska? Not a shot, but like a game-winning basket with like a minute to go.
That would not be a good question for me because I don't remember specifically the Nebraska games during that period of time. It's possible.
Those are the only window I would have into Creighton
Didn't
during
Kellen
that time.
Milner had a game-winning shot against Nebraska?
They played close games in the Collier era, and then the Sadler era. Everything was.
I think you're thinking of Kellen Milner.
Could be.
That was later. That was probably 3 or 4 years later.
Okay,
would be my guess. There was definitely a game winner. Josh Jones had a late shot against Nebraska in that period of time,
Right.
2010-ish, I suppose it would be.
Part of the issue for me is I can't put like.
Let's go.
I can't put years together for Creighton players. It all just blends. Like there's no, when I said
That's probably a good thing.
When I brought up Gregory, I don't even know how to
Echenike. As Charles Barkley would say, Echenike.
Yeah. I mean, you could have told me that was 2008. You could have told me that was 2018. I wouldn't have known. And it was neither of those. It was like 2011. So, but some of it is I just can't put the context of the years in for these players. So they're just random names.
Let me see the 50. There was a 50 to 40. Thank you, Matt, for texting me. There was a 50 to 49 game, and that was the game where Kellen Milner, I think, made the game winner. Gosh,
that would have been in that range that I was thinking of.
I think so. You're probably thinking of Kellen Milner. Who wouldn't think of Kellen Milner?
In my head, his name was Ben Grimes, apparently.
Mike Grimes is a thing, though.
Well, he was playing in the game with someone named Ben, and I made him.
There have been Bens. There have been Bens.
Has there ever been a Ben?
There has definitely been Bens in the history of Creighton basketball. And the next chapter of Creighton basketball will be written in the college basketball crown, which absolutely exists and will not be ignored on this show.
One half of this show believes it has existed for 2 years now.
I knew that it existed last year. I talked about it plenty last year and then did a conscious bit to ignore it after the final and then was ridiculed. And now history has been changed because people are telling me that I didn't acknowledge the crown at all, which, check the tape, not true. I was talking about it during that period of time because God knows there ain't nothing else to talk about.
Well,
what am I going to talk about? Spring football?
If I remember correctly,
it was Cale Jacobson City up in that
They
day.
would have won on a Sunday, and I was appearing on Mondays on your show, so I would have at least acknowledged it. And then how you responded to it, I have no idea.
Okay, that would have been funny. We need to check the tape on that.
We should, yeah. That would be a good one.
I think I made it
You said you made it about an hour and a half.
I think I made it about an hour and a half, potentially.
Which I came on around 11:30.
It would have been still during the time at which I was ignoring the crown for sure.
Okay.
So I don't know how I did that. Probably.
I
Just asking a bunch of
guarantee I
football
made
questions.
a comment about Nebraska's wins in April. That had to have happened on that show.
Maybe.
There's no way that I would not have made that, knowing just me.
And then I was probably like, I don't know what you're talking about.
That
I'm not really sure what you're referencing.
Now, let's go back to Dylan Raiola and spring football. Here.
That's probably what we did.
And then we talked about it. And then they went 6-6.
And so we'll have a decision to make. Should Creighton win the crown this year, which is possible.
We'll talk about
I
it.
have no idea. Are there crown odds that exist anywhere in the world?
I'll be honest.
I bet they have it on Kalshi or something.
I think Oklahoma seems like they'd be a pretty heavy favorite in this thing.
Whoa.
Because their side of the draw, none of those teams are good.
Who's the highest? Let's see. Who's the highest Ken Palm team to be in the crown?
Probably
It's definitely
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. Cincinnati's not in there.
Nope.
Indiana's not in there. San Diego State, Baylor, New Mexico,
Baylor.
Seton Hall. Baylor, there you go. Washington, Virginia Tech, Florida State, Northwestern, Stanford, West Virginia. They're right next to each other.
Okay.
What a matchup. Let's see. And then Creighton's down at 76. Give me some more teams that are in there.
So Minnesota's in the hundreds.
Minnesota 77.
Okay.
Right behind Creighton.
And then Colorado, they've been terrible this year.
70.
How are they 70?
Great question. They're in the Big
They're
12.
in the Big 12.
They're in the
That
Big
has
12.
to be what it is.
Yeah, it's Aura Steel.
They have some horrendous losses. Now, I know they
they lost to Iowa State by 900 points. That was a great game.
No, I mean, they lost to Houston by 60 points or whatever.
They lost to Houston by 40. I watched them lose to Iowa State by, I guess it was only 30. It's surprising. I thought it would have been more than that because I was watching it and there was 12 people there. Horrific.
That seems high.
Everybody had sort of cleared out of the arena. It was a home game for Iowa State.
Oh, no.
And everybody had sort of cleared out at the end of it because it was so bad. They didn't want to watch Colorado get beat down over and over and over again.
Over and over.
There you go. There's your Crown Talk. It's the top story of the day. There's absolutely no doubt about it. Okay, I have one more question for you.
Let's do it.
Are you looking to win one or are you looking to make a run?
You know, you mentioned this earlier, and I guess there's a hard part of this question for me that I don't know what. Like, how are you firing your guns to only get one win in this tournament? Like, the way that basketball is set up, it's not like a baseball thing where you'd throw pitchers that would be unavailable, or you wouldn't run somebody into the ground like you might in football.
So I think it's a combination of a couple different things. Number one, I'm sort of asking you, as a fan and as you, Schaefer, like, and then I think there's a team aspect too, where Nebraska has, I wouldn't say that they've been limping into where they're at right now, but they're
not firing on all.
They haven't been the best version of themselves. There's all this
a little while.
There's all this conversation about, hey, we got to win one NCAA tournament game. We have to win the one NCAA tournament game. Like, I don't like when I saw the bracket get released, the response to all of that stuff, there wasn't so much of, oh, here's a path for Nebraska to get to the Elite Eight or to get to the Final Four. It was more of like, Troy, you're on my bleep list. I'm about to mess you up, Troy. Like, it was mostly that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a mindset thing, I guess, which is admittedly a tough thing to track down from a target perspective.
Well, and I think even more specifically, the mindset of a program that has consistently gotten to the tournament and won would be looking at a path. The mindset of a program that's never won is like,
understandable.
So I think it's that. But if you're asking me,
I just think there's a lot.
I want
on
them to
table.
go on a run, and I want them to think that they're going to go on a run, and I want them to think that this is more than just. Here's the
teams that go on a run. You see it in the first round. They have this like different sort of edge.
Yeah,
they have this different. Like, I think about the UConn teams that just, especially the one that kind of.
I
came
want
out
them to
of
go
nowhere.
beat the crap out of Troy.
Yeah,
like, I want this to.
If they do that,
when Mitch said that this is going to be close in the second half, I understand where he'd come from. But there's a world where Nebraska's defense just shows up. They're better than Troy. They played better teams than Troy almost exclusively for the last 2 months. And they have the ability to take teams that are worse than them and make them look like trash. They did that to, Minnesota's 77th in the net, and they basically shut them down to 20 points in the second half.
Yeah, they definitely have a gear.
Like they have that ability. Now, they haven't done it in a while, so that's part of it.
And so that's part of the question too. Like, can they flip that switch back on? / have they been waiting for this moment to flip that switch back on?
That's what I'm hoping.
I don't know if it's that easy with this group in particular, because I just don't know that I've seen a dip in energy or like whatever. I haven't got the sense for the last 3 weeks that they've been bored.
No,
at times Michigan, I have been. At the same time, you start 20-0, and it puts you into a much different position as far as how your safety for a team that's never won an NCAA tournament game. And so it's hard to sustain what they were doing in January.
We also don't know what sort of mental lift it would give them if they go beat Troy. It's like, you go handle Troy, and then whether you get Vanderbilt or McNeese,
does the weight get
you
lifted?
don't have to worry about winning a game anymore. Now you're just playing basketball. That team has to come play you after a 24-hour off period. And I like the path for Nebraska, at least to get to the Sweet 16. I like Vanderbilt as your potential second matchup. I think that's a team that, relative to other SEC teams, I wouldn't want Arkansas.
It's part of the reason I bring this up, Schaefer. It's because I think if you think about it the right way, every game is a tournament still, and blah blah blah. Like there's a randomness that is added into all this, and there's a lot of this that we just can't account for. But I think there is more on the table than just one win. Yeah. I think there is more on the table than just your first NCAA tournament win. I don't think there's any guarantees, obviously,
there's
but
no guarantee they win the first one.
I don't think that you would be. I wouldn't look at you sideways if you started dreaming. I really wouldn't. And so I think there is more on the table, and you only get so many opportunities to do it. You only get the draw that you get once a year.
100% why, to me, it's not just go beat Troy. It's if you beat Troy, look at what's in front of you. Whether it's McNeese or Vanderbilt, that's a game I think Nebraska can win. Even Florida, you're drawing the 4th number 1 seed. So it's still a 1 seed. It's still a great team.
And who knows what happens to them?
But yeah, if they run into Bennett Sturts in Iowa, and Iowa just mucks it all up and has a great defensive day against a bad, isn't Florida a bad shooting team from 3? So then it's they're athletically far superior than what Iowa or Clemson is likely to roll out.
Correct.
But, there's a world in which they've lost games like this to teams that aren't as good.
Yep.
So, you don't know what's going to happen. When Creighton went to the Elite Eight, there's no way in your mind you thought that Yale was going to be sitting there.
Princeton.
Whichever. It doesn't matter.
Ivy League school. I most certainly did not. No.
You get that matchup.
That's why I still say to this day, I get bothered by the foul that was not a foul. And I think if Creighton would have met up with UConn in the national championship game, there were only 2 steps away from that happening. That's why I think about this stuff every day. So don't live life in regret, everybody. Don't live life in regret.
Yeah. So for me, obviously want the first one just to be done with it. It's as much to never have the conversation again as it is to,
would be awesome.
To basically be like, okay, now they've won a tournament game. We don't have to do this anymore.
Yep.
Now they're like everybody else, go play your next game and go from there. But it's not like there's not going to be this moment where there's going to be a single tear running down my cheek that they finally won a tournament game. It's not that. It's they've done it. They move on and they do what teams do 32 times in March every year of my life. And before that, they win a basketball game and then they go play again 24 hours after that.
Yep.
That is a very common thing that has happened. See Nebraska do it, and then I get to move on.
The tournament has happened every year except for 2020. All right, we'll be back. One more bracket sim before we send Schaefer off here on 1620 The Zone. Okay, quick bracket sim. This will be Schaefer's last show of the week as he heads off to Oklahoma City to name Creighton basketball players. And
I am with two people that could name a lot of Creighton basketball.
we'll have Michael Snow in tomorrow and Thursday. And yes, we will be on the air. This show will be on the air on Thursday and Friday, as we'll be your pregame for your pregame. We'll be a pregame for your big old basketball games coming up. Westwood One's coverage, I believe, starts at 10. So
I'll be able to listen as I drive out to 81 potentially.
Wonderful. What'd you say, Joey?
Yeah, I said it'll start at 10 o'clock.
There you go. You got it. All right, last bracket sim. We need to leave Mike Schaefer happy.
Just give me a win or 3.
We know where they're at. We know who they're playing. They are a 4 seed playing Troy in that bottom left corner of the bracket. Nebraska wins. Okay.
All right.
They win their first game. Now, yesterday they lost to Troy.
They
right?
lost to Troy.
All right. Then they move on to the round of 32
against Vanderbilt,
where they play Vanderbilt, and they win again.
There we go.
A Sweet 16 appearance. Will it go any further?
Houston, you have Nebraska.
Not Houston. Well, they go to Houston to like play basketball.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Not the
that
University
they're
of
literally
Houston.
playing Houston.
They don't quite make it to play the University of Houston because they do lose to Florida in the Sweet 16.
That's understandable.
Florida goes to Houston to play Houston, and is that true? They'd play. That sucks. Yeah, that sucks.
It's there's some location stuff in this year's tournament where it's like,
that's
what?
Messed up.
How did you let this happen?
Anyway, chalk, Duke, Florida, Michigan, and Purdue is in the Final Four. Somehow, my national champion, Arizona, gets beat by Utah State in the round of 32.
Whoa!
Which I could actually see.
The cow. Utah State's good.
So I ran a sim and it did the same thing. Arizona losing to Utah State in the round of 32. But mine had Nebraska going further, Mike.
Whoa.
Losing to Houston in the Elite Eight.
Whoa. In Houston.
Would take.
In Houston.
Sign me up now.
And then you would say, it's not fair that we had to play Houston in Houston.
I'm sure I will say that. Undoubtedly will say that. I want the audio file of March 17th of me saying I would be very excited just to be in the Elite Eight.
Yeah, we'll just play that on loop.
I'm just happy to be here.
Sweet 16, only oddity in this sim that I'm looking at is Hofstra, who beat both Alabama and Texas Tech.
Watch out for Speedy Claxtons, boys.
Kind of nuts. All right, that is going to do it. Schaefer, have a great time.
Safe travels
in Oklahoma City.
Am I not doing the crossover?
We are doing the crossover, but I just wanted to say bye.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Crossover coming up next.